Hello, everybody, and welcome to the post-show. That's Twitter going off immediately. Hope everybody's doing good. That was crazy, that announcement. I knew some of the stuff, but Jesus Christ, there was a lot there. An absolute huge amount. Thanks very much to everybody who stuck about after the show. You will be rewarded in very short period of time. So yeah, I was asked a little while ago to do the post-show for this event. And basically, I got a bit of a reveal for you guys. Very fortunately, and I'm incredibly happy for this to have happened. When ArenaNet were sorting out stuff for the announcement of the expansion pack, they invite press around to do different things, and I'm just really a nobody YouTuber, but they invited me to take part in some stuff. So I've actually played the expansion already. Oh god, it feels weird. I've been cagey about that for a little while. And it feels weird to be able to just say that now. Yes, I've actually played it. And you guys get to experience it with me. We're going to do a playthrough. We're not going to do, like, trailery... Well, we've got some trailery stuff. But the bulk of the show, we're actually going to be in there seeing what it's like. I do have new stuff for you guys. Different stuff for you guys. And hopefully it should be a good time. So, everything you'll see in here, I've basically been scrambling to mock up. But here's basically the plan for the show. I've sorted all of this out. It might go disastrously wrong. We will see. But yeah, so I wanted to say hi for about 5 minutes. Then what we're going to do is we're going to look at the trailer. I've got the trailer loaded up, and we can sort of pick at little things in there. Now, the reveal they did was like a bit the trailer, but then also a ton of other information and stuff. Really, we're just going to be looking at the trailer. And I actually tried making a video about the trailer as well, but so much got clarified by the other sections, we'll see. But there's some interesting things we can pick up there. So we're going to, first of all, and that's what everyone thought this post-show was going to be. It was just going to be, oh, trailer analysis. Oh, they're going to put out a trailer. WP's going to talk for multiple hours about it. Hee hee, meme. No. Then we're going to do that for about a quarter of an hour. And then we're going to get going, all right? And you'll notice we got a gem giveaway, right? I'm going to do double giveaways each time until the last one, where we're giving away 1,200 gems to one grand prize winner. But here's the way this show's going to work, right? Whether you know me or not, right? The way I tend to do things, people who remember from a while ago on YouTube, I used to host a series called Guild Wars 2 Mastermind, where you had to be a ridiculous nerd and geek to know the answers to the questions. We're going to do Path of Fire Mastermind, all right? So, as I talk about things on this show, as I teach you things about new stat combos that are in the game, about new stuff that appears, you're going to have to pay attention to what I talk about. And some little random insignificant looking thing is going to be a question. And that's how you win your gems, alright? That's how you win your gems. So, that's going to be going on throughout the whole show. So, pay attention, try to remember little things. And, yeah, we're going to learn a bit about Path of Fire. So, yeah, it was Path of Fire. Many people guessed it right. That's why I guess they did one path ends on the previous, at the end of the last episode, which really was kind of a bit of a weird name. And yeah, I also have some special guests, so let's keep going. So we're going to look at a ton of concept art and interesting things. We'll whiz through that. There won't be too much there. But we got screenshots of new areas. Some of it you've seen vaguely in the actual show ArenaNet did a second ago. But we'll do some concept art stuff. Then what we're going to do is we're going to do a playthrough. We're going to have half an hour straight up of a playthrough. Now, that's how the expansion starts. That's what you're going to be watching. And some of you are going to say, oh, no spoilers. I've cut out most of, like, any even vaguely spoiler-related stuff. Let's face it, they just did a trailer where Ritlock's talking about blah, blah, blah. This is what happened to me in the mist. So, you've already had that spoiled. There's nothing crazier than that, really. And you're going to see how it all starts. We're going to do a bit of a playthrough. It's not going to be a live playthrough. It's stuff that I've recorded before, and now we're pretending it's live. But stick with me on it, guys. Stick with me. So we're going to do that, and that's going to be really long. And then I'm going to get Peachy on. So Peachy's got some really cool footage of crazy things in the expansion that I just completely missed, of like the beautiful kind of areas we go to. We'll talk to her about some stuff, and then we're going to do a section on Elite Specializations. You're either going to love or hate the section on Elite Specializations. I'm just going to be blunt about this, guys. Wow, we're lagging badly. I really hate the thought that we might be lagging. I think we're dropping like major frames right now. That's pretty terrifying. And I don't know why. I've never streamed to ArenaNet's channel before. So great, we're going to have technical issues. What? Why am I only able to get a tiny amount of frames out? This is bad. This is going to be terrible. This whole show is going to get ruined. Okay, we're just fluctuating bitrate a lot. Bear with me, guys. But yeah, so we're going to do Elite Specs. Now, I didn't play all of the Elite Specs, but I will show you stuff about 5 of them. So, any Ranger fans, any Rev fans, Any... Who else didn't I look at? Any NG fans? Did I say NG already? And any Guardian fans, you guys may as well just leave now. Because if that's all you care about, the Elite Specialization for that, I haven't got stuff on that. But the others, I do. And it's all pretty interesting. Then I'm going to get Bog on. We're going to have... He's got a lot of cool footage and interesting things to talk about with mounts. And at the very end, I did have an interview with Mo. It's a fluffy interview. There's nothing really crazy. There would have been a bit of a bomb drop, and that's the idea that maybe Mike Z is going to become game director later. But our current Mike just straight up said that in the AMA. So that's kind of been lost. And then we'll do the final mastermind thing. And I got a little bit of bonus stuff as well at the end for you guys. So yeah, that's really the show. I'd allotted myself about 5 minutes to talk to you guys about it. Hope you all liked it. Thanks, WP, for no Guardian stuff. Listen, our Queen felt this. What can I tell you, alright? I don't like Guardian. No, it's not that. It's just I didn't have much time. I'm so sorry. And I got onto the Weaver, alright? And the Weaver kind of blows my mind. Let me just tell you, I'm gonna jumpstart this. For any Weaver fans, they've added something like 40 new skills to the Weaver. They didn't even hint in that stuff a second ago. The Weaver is mental. I think it's at least 40 new skills that the Weaver's got. It's actually crazy. And it's not just sword that the Weaver's got. All of its core weapons also have changes as well, and also have new things. It's absolutely crazy. And so yeah, the Weaver was the first one I went on. People that don't know, I'm an early main, and yeah, it was pretty ridiculous. What can I say? So we will get there. Don't worry, we will get there. And Warrior is amazing, by the way. Warrior is very cool. If you like GW1 Mesmer like me, I was a Mesmer main in the first game. Warrior is really cool. Anyway. All right, let's talk about the trailer. Let's talk about the stuff that we saw. And I hope I've got this set up. I have tried really hard on this post-show. I must say, I have tried really hard. And all I can say is I hope that this all works out. Hopefully you guys have been enjoying the music in the background as well. All right, so, well, here we go. We're going to check out the trailer. This is Path of Fire. This is the main trailer that they've got for us all. Let me put my headset on. And remember, pay attention. There's going to be... well, okay, the first question is not that hard, but there's going to be a question about what we witness on this trailer with this analysis. Okay, so let's just watch it through. Let's get the hype rolling again, and then we'll start talking about it, and we'll go a little bit slowly. I have got my trusty pen as well for you guys, so you know we can draw all kinds of questionable objects with that, and it should be lots of fun. So here we go. Let's watch the trailer a second time, or third, but shh, it's fine.
Commander, there's something I have to tell you. I went into the mists after my sword, but I found something else.
Refugees are pouring in from Alona.
If he kills an Elder Dragon, Tyria will never recover.
Cannot stand in the glory of Balthazar's light.
I will right this wrong.
I just can't believe one of the gods gave up on us.
They cannot escape my wrath. When I am done,
Alright, see? So it's pretty hype, pretty interesting. I like the new logo that they've got and what they're doing with the dust, basically. I think that's quite interesting. So yeah, POF, there's lots of little things to pick at here. Someone already said the spoiler, the water looks amazing. I did actually notice that about this. I'm hoping that the water engine has been improved or something. We saw, if you remember, in Draconis Mons, they upgraded it. But yeah, I thought I'd just take you through. I've looked through this trailer before, and already got some ideas of things to pick at. So you'll notice when it opens with the Ritlock thing. By the way, everyone going on about later Cub, Ritlock is still a douche about telling his secrets in the expansion, seriously. He's still a douche about it. So, yeah. So basically here we've got some concept art-y kind of style. This is basically one of those cutscenes that you find in Ascalon Catacombs or when you make a new character. It's that 2012 kind of classic painterly look, and I quite like this here because it shows that they're still sticking by that with the expansion itself. I think that maybe this is not right when the expansion starts, for reasons that will become clear later. It seems like we're going to have maybe a patch or something between the expansion and the start, or between Living World Season 3 and the start of the expansion, because they reference some stuff to do with Lion's Arch events, which we'll see shortly. So I don't know where this cutscene specifically appears, but yeah, this is Rytlock talking about being in the mist. This is him reclaiming his sword. Here you'll notice he is in his Herald outfit, but no blindfold. There is actually no blindfold on Rytlock here, so I'm not quite sure what's going on there. Clearly there's been some progression in this story up to the point where we get here, and he's finally talking to us. And he's been so cagey about what happened. The other question that should really be on our minds is, why is he now breaking down and talking to us about what happened to him in the mists? But so, moving forward, we get this shot here. Now, I think the trailer is being incredibly deceptive here, because the trailer says, oh, I found something else in the mist. And you might think then, oh, so is this the mist? And it looks quite, you know, surreal as a landscape. I'm not so sure, though, honestly. Like, this is kind of like one of those destroyed pyramids that we've been looking at recently. In like the final cutscene, we saw essentially like that vision of what Balthazar was doing. We were seeing pyramids get destroyed, and also this is quite clearly branded stuff. You can kind of look at the next expansion, guys, as a story of, instead of attacking an Elder Dragon, defending one, which is already interesting enough. But it's a story with 3 factions. It's a story with the Branded and Kralkatorrik. It's a story with Balthazar and the Forged, which were the new guys we were looking at earlier. And it's a story with Joko and the Undead. Like, these 3 powerful factions vying. And it's amazing how little they show us of the Undead in this trailer. There is stuff to do with the Undead. And they just announced as well on the main show that that faction is called the Awakened, which I didn't know until a couple of seconds ago. But there's so tiny amounts of them in this trailer. Most of this trailer is just basically setting up Kralkatorrik versus Balth. But so, let's keep going. Someone in chat says, you wonder when the wiki will start getting new POF info? Well, to be honest with you, you can do it right now. You can update the wiki right now. With information that's on this show, you can go for it as well. I mean, the more people that contribute there, the better. Here we get essentially the desert borderlands, right? It's funny because on the main show, you know, they're talking about mounts. Oh my god, mounts. Mounts are going to be an interesting one to talk about. Let me get a show of hands, seriously, in chat now. Who likes mounts? Who's cagey about mounts? 1, if you love the idea of mounts and what you saw. 2, if you're cagey about it and you need to see more to be sold on it. 1 versus 2. Let's do it. Let's open Pandora's box. I want to see what people are voting. And, so yeah, anyway, they're talking about mounts and, like, a horizontal progression and big, like, wide maps. And then immediately the trailer opens with, like, all this verticality here. This is like the Desert Borderlands Firekeep, right? Oh, that's good. Look, everyone's really hyped about the mounts. That's good. And by the way, if you want to get your friends and other MMO players into Guild Wars, mounts are really your in, right? Mounts is the bit where you can say, oh yeah, this feature's now in the game. But yeah, so there's crazy verticality, and you know, I'd like to see that. We kind of think of that as a Heart of Thorns thing, but it's not totally a Heart of Thorns thing, obviously. They've learned from the Heart of Thorns maps, and not only are these ones going to be really wide, but also seemingly they're going to be quite deep as well when they need to be. Why there is a giant fire keep deep underneath, presumably the Crystal Desert, I couldn't quite tell you. And we didn't really see lava there in the first game. So here, this is probably the most fascinating shot of the trailer. So this is where my chops as someone who knows about the game and supposedly knows about lore will come into play. This is probably the biggest tease. This is the moment... This is the equivalent of the Heart of Thorns trailer, where we all looked at that Exalted and we said, it's a Mathart, it's a Mathart. And there were a couple of people saying that's not a Mathart. And those people were right in the end. Those nerds, they were right, and all of us that thought it was a Mathart were wrong. Here, I'm going to put my foot in my mouth again. I think we're looking at Marganites here, maybe? Because check this out, right? These guys only appear here, right? These are either branded, they're either minions of Kralkatorrik, right? And they're branded, and they're an interesting, different version of branded, or they're something else. Now, these are floating, purple, energized creatures we're looking here. And to me, that screams Marganite. Also consider, the context of this part of the trailer is that we could be in the mists. And, I mean, what, is this the Fissure of Woe? Is this just regular Crystal Desert? I'm not entirely sure. But, okay, the Crystal Desert as a region was once inhabited by the Margonites, followers of Abaddon, who, once Abaddon had been cast to the Realm of Torment, they were sort of dragged down with him, right? And we saw the leftovers of their ruins. If we're going back to the Crystal Desert in this expansion, there's got to be some Margonite lore there, maybe, right? And if there's going to be stuff to do with the mists, I don't know, man. Margonites? Is that crazy of me? Or is it branded? We've always known that there's a similarity between Margonites and branded. And, you know, the idea that the Crystal Sea or the Crystal Ocean or the Crystal Desert was Abaddon's region, which just so happened to be where Kralkatorrik was. Did Abaddon borrow from Kralkatorrik's magic? And the Margonites essentially are a form of branded and blah, blah, blah. That's all interesting speculation to get into. But yeah, who are these guys? And I think it is prominent. I think it is significant because nowhere else on the trailer does this variety of enemy appear. And neither in the rest of the show did they talk about that variety of enemy. So that's really interesting. Any big fans of Nightfall? I mean, this expansion is going to be so good. There's little... Oh, okay. Look, we'll just keep going, all right? So anyway, yeah. Margonites? Or is it just some new thing? Or some boring thing? Who knows? Rest in peace, Cantha, says Trepar. Well, you never know. So again, here's a shot. This could equally be the Crystal Desert, or it could be the Fissure of Woe, maybe? I don't know. This reminds me of that area with the tents in the Fissure of Woe. I did a recap on my channel quite recently playing through it, where you could get a couple of quests in like the Eternal Battleground space just outside the Eternal Forge. Not the Eternal Forge. I always mess that up. The Obsidian Forge, or whatever it is, where you get the Obsidian armor in the center. Also, we got like a big tower in the background. I don't know. Is that one of the big towers from Fissure of Woe, or is that just another part of the structure we see in the center? I'm not sure. Or it could just be the Crystal Desert. I mean, really, the start of the trailer, just that's the sum up to me. It's like they're being deceptive. It's like they're playing around. Is it the real world, or is it the mists? And then finally, we get hit this after a bit of a black screen. We transition through a black screen. And here, I think, quite explicitly, I think this is the Crystal Desert now. I think this is a new expansion area. I've not played here, so I don't know what this is, right? But I think this is a new... I think this is the actual world. And I think this is... you're going to look at that and you're immediately going to be struck and think of the Zephyrites. And you're going to think of the Labyrinthine Cliffs. Any long-term fans, people who were playing back during Season 1 will remember that. I think these are the Zephyrites. Remember, the Crystal Desert, we know the Zephyrites visited fairly recently when they reclaimed Glint's body, when they gathered her aspects, when they essentially got all this crystal magic and things going on. I think at some point we're going to get a little bit more on that. The Zephyrites are a huge overhanging plot thread as well from Season 2 and the... Season 3 days and the Heart of Thorns days. So I think getting a little bit more, you know, maybe this is the ruins, this is the leftover, like, small settlement that the Zephyrites had established while they were in the area. Now, in those short stories, we never heard about that. We just heard about the desert being a very desolate, unforgiving place, but I think that this could work. Definitely screams Zephyrites to me. Is it the Labyrinthine Cliffs exactly? I don't know. I don't remember. I don't think it is, though. I doubt it. Someone says they want build template. I just kind of want to look at chat and see what everyone's saying. Build templates and daily AP kept removed. Build templates I was really hoping for from this expansion. Very much. But there wasn't anything on the show about it. So, who knows. Looks like the Desert World versus World map. Well, there's going to be a lot of crossover there. For what it's worth, the Desert World versus World map, gameplay-wise, we can hate on it all we like. But it's a beautiful map. Visually, environmentally, it's gorgeous. And I'm really excited to be able to play something like that properly in PvE now, you know. Why is my phone going off? Jesus. All right, well, let's keep going. So, yeah, I think we are in the overworld now. We are in the overworld.
Are pouring in.
So the voiceover says, refugees are pouring in from Alona. And we get some Alonans. Look at these guys that are badass. Look at the outfits they're wearing, the dress. I'm not a Fashion Wars 2 player, you guys know, but this is something new, right? We don't see outfits and things like this. This is cool. I like the architecture as well. I like sort of the blue marbled effect that you've got going on there. If you look very closely at this shot as well, I'm going to rewind slightly, right? Look very closely at the start of this shot. What you can actually see in the top left over here, all right? That's a capture, that's a node, and what we've actually got is just a ton of NPCs charging away. So I think it's quite clear what this is. This is some kind of, like, settlement defense. I think that this is going to be defending Elonan refugees that have moved north and will be in early expansion maps. I think that this is going to be defend them from Balthazar, and if the settlement falls, I think Balthazar will construct a bunch of fortifications and things, which we're going to see elsewise in the trailer. Oh my god, we gotta keep going. I only have 5 minutes longer before we got to move on to another section. Let's go a bit quicker.
From Alona.
So here's Forge. They look cool, very interesting. It's curious to me that they didn't use Balthazar's Eternals. They've basically added new lore here. One of the things that's really cool about the expansion, let me just say, and you're going to see this in the playthrough in a second. What's really cool is if you remember when we went into Heart of Thorns, right? Heart of Thorns, they had introduced all the Mordrum in Season 2. And so when you get to Heart of Thorns, there are new enemies. There were mushrooms and there were, you know, pocket raptors and things did start appearing. But our main enemies, the Mordrum, we'd already been fighting for a year because we were fighting them in Season 2. This expansion, in Path of Fire, you get this really awesome moment where, like, everything feels new. Because all these Forge are new, you know, we never fought any Forged in season 3, in episode 6 or episode 5. So, like, it all feels really, really, really fresh. And we'll see a lot of their abilities and things in a second. But that's one thing I really like. I want proper lore about why they exist, though, and sort of who they are and how they develop from the Eternals and stuff.
If he kills an Elder Dragon,
this is a lovely shot. In the background, they're saying if he kills an Elder Dragon, we'll never survive. By the way, there's a bit in the audio as well later where Balthazar says he just wants to kill all the other gods, which is an interesting confirmation that the other gods are still in the picture and is, you know, quite a cool thing to look at. Anyway, yeah, body, burning, Balthazar bad. The body, I'm actually curious if it's the bones of a Giganticus lupicus. We saw a lot of those in the Crystal Desert in GW1, and it would be nice to maybe get a little bit more exposition on them, since we haven't had that since 2012 and Ara Explorable mode.
Tyria will never recover.
Alright, this is the bit where everybody probably set up mounts and raptors. I'll be talking a lot about these over the show. A lot about them, so I won't go crazy here. But notice the little footprints, notice that they're different sizes. One of them is a slightly different colour. There are things. Also in the background, like, look at those. There's 2 new enemies in the background there. There's a sandworm and a sand shark. And you know, that's just more of what you're going to experience. We'll see this soon enough. Here's the next mount. This is the Skimmer. Beautiful waters and more giant bones underneath too. This guy is fantastic. I loved what they showed of him in the other areas of the trailer there. I've never actually ridden on this, but what we saw in those trailers I've been able to skip. It's funny, you know, we think of Heart of Thorns as being the end times for underwater combat. Yeah, we don't even have to go in water anymore. You just get on this bad boy and you just glide over any body of water you like. How brilliant is that? So yeah. We get this cute little guy, kangaroo thing, never existed in the lore. Curious what they say about that. I don't even know what that's called. But these are the guys that jump much more. Now, you'll notice as well, by the way, I have heard from the devs that the draw distance, these new maps are huge, right? They're huge, trust me. And the draw distance is actually a lot further out on the new maps that allow you to appreciate that more. And I think you get a bit of a sign of that on this shot. If you look past the mount, you get a bit of a sign of that. So that's kind of cool. Here we get a cool shot. This is what it'd be like in a squad. It's an MMO, so we get that kind of cooperative shot. I think this is really important actually for an MMO. It's a bit like, again, the Heart of Thorns trailer where we saw the raid, and I say that with quotes because it was actually a guild hall in the end, but we saw like 10 people marching through to speak to a bunch of Exalted. It never ended up in the game in the end. That's another thing as well. I mean, September 22nd? It's like with Heart of Thorns, we had so much waiting, and then there was obviously a lot of changes. With this, that's not going to happen. It's like, what you see is what you're going to get. Anyway, so this is actually a small glimpse at the last mount as well, the one that teleports. He's over there in the bottom left-hand corner.
They cannot stand in the glory of Balthazar's light.
Loads of Forged, big badass guy. This is a Hydra. Yes, I'm geeked. Yes, I think it's amazing. Yes, we'll be talking more about them later. The Hydra are cool. Really cool. They got some interesting tech on them. They're much more than regular enemies. This is everything I could have hoped for from Hydra and more. Believe me. And this isn't the only Hydra from the trailer either. A really interesting style of Forge there. Look at the branded stuff in the background. So here is that outpost, I think, and this is like after it's failed, maybe, and the Forge of Attack. Ridiculous siege engine. We saw a lot of this in some of ArenaNet's other stuff earlier.
I just can't.
Casimir. I don't know, man. I don't know whether this shot should have been in the trailer. But yes, Casimir's the only one that actually got it in. A lot of the main characters, aside from Ritlock, I suppose, Destiny's Edge characters. Fate's Razor characters, she's the only one. We get this depth blur, so we can't really pick out really great detail in the background, but you can sort of see more of the gorgeous environments. Here, you've got this rubble falling, so this we'll see very quickly when our playthrough begins. Beautiful tech, really, really interesting stuff. I don't think we've seen them do that in Guild Wars before, and there's lots of it. Basically, these pyramids are being sieged, and all the rocks and boulders and rubble is falling down. It's great.
Can't believe one of the gods gave.
All right, it cuts through a lot of things there. I've got to go a bit quicker here. You see a bit more of the water. We see a blind guy. Well, he's got... no, I don't know. Is he supposed to be blind, or is that his pupil just right up in the corner? I don't know. But yeah, he's getting attacked by more Forged.
Gods gave up on us.
There is another really interesting shot. This exists for maybe about a 20th of a second. You guys ready? This here. This is our first shot. Here we go. Let's try and get it.
Gods gave up on us.
There we go. This is our first shot in the entire trailer. It lasts maybe a 20th of a second of undead. These are the awakened. This is... So you see how the trailer de-emphasizes these guys. I wonder if Palawa isn't going to be such a major player for the expansion itself, but maybe season 4 after it or something. But these are the awakened. They've got catapults, different types of undead. I talked about that contrast with the Risen in episode 6 we just had. Going to be really interesting. There's only this shot and then one other awakened soldier in the entire trailer, and there's 2 shots of the other one. By the way, also, this flashes past, so it can be kind of quick to miss. I think, though, that is a teleporter pad from the Crystal Desert in GW1. If you go back and play the Crystal Desert back then, there were these teleportation areas that would blink you around, and I wonder whether that, where you'd have to play these little puzzles, I wonder whether that is the Guild Wars 2 version of it. It looks kind of like it, and it appears in a couple of different shots. There we had a branded Siege Devourer, more mounts, more Forged. This is a gorgeous shot. Visually, I think this is the most gorgeous shot of the entire trailer. A skimmer coming along. Look at the Alolan-style boats, the lighting, the colours. Brilliant. Fantastic. Here we get the big man himself, Balthazar, with his greatsword at his side. Massive lore bomb in a second, I think, by the way. Get ready. Balthazar says, "You cannot escape my wrath." They pair that with footage of this guy. Who is this guy? He's not forged, but he looks a lot like Balthazar. He has a skull on his shoulder. And he doesn't have a head. That looks very Soulsy, doesn't it? Doesn't have a head. Let me ask you, Twitch chat, who do you think this is? Because I'll tell you, the whole headless thing makes me think of... Are we looking at Menzies? There you go, chat's really getting it. Is this Menzies? Sorry, Menzies. Menzies, guys. I don't know, or is this just a big boss? What are they doing here? Is it Menzies? Is it Menzies? That would be crazy, right? Right? But are we going off the deep end? I don't know. But this is very, very curious to me. It's definitely not Balthazar. Well, it doesn't have the same weapon. Anyway, crazy. Here's the other Awakened. He's got, like, tar and stuff. The Siege Engine is going to fire a giant projectile, which moves slowly, by the way, so I think this might be a world boss or something. It looks like the kind of thing we'd actually dodge. More Forged charging the camera. They look very pretty. More of that outpost that's fallen. Do you see, like, the sub sort of story that this trailer's telling? Hey, the Forged are attacking the desert. By the way, most of these shots, I think, have been from an early map. It's a bit like with Heart of Thorns, where most of it was all about Verdant Brink. The media they release isn't... You know, they said 5 maps, right? So I think we're really looking at early stuff. I doubt we're getting super late stuff. And places far to the south. Next Awaken... And here it is. We got a branded Hydra, baby, with the brand clearly behind and some kind of Twilight setting. This guy looks cool. He's so cool, in fact, that he's sort of the climax of the whole trailer, him firing some kind of energy beam. And that's about it, really. The last shots are just sort of wind down, and there's not too much to pick at. So here we go. And I love there's a little musical motif going on in the background there. Very, very subtle, and I love it so much. They got some great music. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, like, the very start of the post-show where we had that countdown there. So, yeah, there you go. That's the analysis of the trailer. That's sort of what I could pick out. There's so much more to talk about with the other things. But who's up for a quick little giveaway? A quick, cheeky little 5-minute giveaway as we roll on in here. So let me just check. What time should we be at here? So we've got till 5-2. It already is 5-2. All right, here we go. That's fine. We're going to roll straight on into the gameplay in a second. I'm going to do concept art and screenshots. All right, so we're going to do a giveaway. Who's ready? All right. Now, the way this is going to work is I'm going to give you a question, and there's going to be 2 winners. They're going to be randomly picked. At the end of the show, I will tell those people who won and message them their gems. So I'm going to leave you with blue balls a little bit here because, unfortunately, you're not going to know if you win or not until the end. But hey, more reason for you guys to stick about. So, question 1. This question is going to be about the trailer. It's the easiest question of them all. It's not even really a mastermind question, all right? And there's a few different answers. Whatever gets, you know, reasonably close will be the person selected. So, you guys ready? Why are we spamming 42? What is this? All right, guys. So, question 1. The trailer features a prominent undead enemy. But what other major undead thing also appeared. All right, so this is sort of baby mode. This is grandma mode here. And hopefully you guys, Hydra. I like, someone was guessing early, so Hothin earlier as well. So that's pretty great. So there you go, guys. And just type your answers down there. It's not Palawaja in the trailer, what we just analyzed, not the other stuff. Some people are getting it now. People are using a word to describe what it is that's not quite right. It's not quite the right word, and it's appearing a lot. If someone gets a more accurate word for it, then we'll go with that. So there you go. That's the start of the giveaway, and we'll have more Mastermind coming up. The other ones are pretty tough, all right? So pay attention to the information we're going to go for in a second. Let's move on. I want to show you guys some of the concept art and some of the screenshots and things that we get from this beautiful looking expansion here. Just tell me if the music in the background is too loud for you guys. It should be okay. It's little snippets. So yeah, first let's do some screenshots. This isn't going to be like crazy lore analysis and stuff. This isn't me like pretending I can glean major details from it. We all know the role of concept art in game development. But I do just want to show off the art. I mean, art is a big part of what this franchise is. Art is, and a lot of this did quite blow me away, all right? Many of it is different sizes and things, so we're going to have a bit of resizing going on. Also, you've seen hints of this concept art already on the show, on that logo animation that I made at the start. What do you guys think of that logo animation? Seriously, I'm so proud of it. I am so proud of it. I thought I did so good. So yeah, here we got some giant doors opening up. It doesn't really resonate with me. I'm not quite sure what the icon is there. I mean, it looks like some kind of bird. I'll be honest, my first thought with this was, these the gates near Ebonhawk? But, I mean, that's patently ridiculous. It's very, very gorgeous. Let's just move on to the next one. So we've got this beautiful art here. Don't forget, this is likely to appear in story instances. It's likely to appear as loading screens for, like, open world maps. I wouldn't be surprised if this is a loading screen. We've got that mountain. Now, if you guys look very closely, you did see there is some snowy gameplay. There is a mountain on the border of the deserts that you can explore, it would seem. So maybe this is the concept art for that loading screen. This is a really beautiful piece. Not quite sure what it's supposed to be depicting, but very, very, very nice. We're obviously looking at incredibly elaborate structures and buildings here. Vabian, perhaps? Then we've got a little bit of the brand here. Two small characters looking out on top. This had a really nice animation on it as well, actually, on the official show that ArenaNet did just a second ago. This reminds me so much. So as some of you guys might know, I once upon a time did a lore summary series of GW1. And I talked about the Crystal Desert on that. And I had some volunteer artists do some brilliant art for me, showing the path to Augury Rock. And this reminds me of this so much. Beautiful, isn't it? It's absolutely gorgeous. These are like the archways that were plastered. Well, they weren't really full archways, but sort of leading to the Hall of Ascension in the first game. To continue going, we got some characters on mounts here. The actual creatures that they're riding on are really ill-defined. They look almost like... Don't they look a bit like gorillas, almost? Like they're riding around on silverbacks or something. Not sure what else there really is to grab from that. We got this beautiful thing here. Reminds me of Ascalon. Ascalon ruins, actually, if anything. Janundu. Yeah, so it's interesting because we had... The devs messed up and put Janundu models in the game a while ago. And we've had the official confirmation that mounts are in the expansion now. So where's the Janundu at, ArenaNet? How are they going to do Janundu? Well, I do actually have some answers to that. Janundu in GW1 kind of replaced your entire skill bar and usurped the entire combat system. And mounts in Path of Fire are not designed to do that. When you're exploring Path of Fire, you can have some option to fight with your mount. But it's generally not the main thing you will be doing. And you'll see why, and that will all make sense. I don't want to sort of encroach on things that Bog's going to be talking to you guys about. But generally, there is all reason to be excited about your elite specializations and so forth. That's not to say Janundu won't appear in the expansion. It's just they're not going to be like a formal mount like you'd expect. So here we got a nice guy. More art. I'll just pick out some favorites at this point. We got this. This is absolutely beautiful. We've got this very dark piece here as well from underwater. It's underwater at night, sorry. And I'll give you one more. There's a lot of concept art I've got. There's a lot of concept art. Here, this one of Balthazar, because a lot of the other art will appear later in the show. So don't worry, guys. Don't worry. There you go. So a bit of screenshot, bit of downtime. Yes, I'm teasing you all. I know you all desperately want the gameplay. Bust out the resident sleepers. But so for screens, if we just have a quick little cheeky look here. So this is the place that that they were sort of talking about. Oh, here we go. So this is what we cut to immediately in the trailer earlier. And I'm not really sure what's going on there, whether we are in the mists. Here's an outpost that we've got. Feel free to pause, screen cap anytime you like, guys. Here we've got... again, this looks a bit like where that person was riding the skimmer before. It looks like this is sort of the reverse shot of that from the trailer. We got these beautiful farms. These are actually just outside the Amnoon Oasis. You will be seeing me playing there within 10 minutes. Here we've got an interesting quarry and some cool little critters here. We've seen a lot of those. They're very interesting as well. They've got some cool death animations. We'll look at those soon. More of what might be the Zephyrite area. Could be. We got sort of get a bit of different perspective there. Another outpost and a gorgeous building. One of the most beautiful bits of concept art that I've seen actually was for that building. And then some kind of like floating windy temple place. And we saw on the trailer that they were using mounts to like blink around. It was like a kind of jump. Think about the kind of jumping puzzles we'll get in this X-Pack, guys. It's going to be really interesting. So yeah, there you go. Some screenshots, some concept art. Let's get into the gameplay, shall we? Okay. So basically this is pre-recorded footage, all right, of me playing through the expansion. And what's going to happen is I'm going to play it through. I'm going to try and not pause too much. I'm going to try and not talk too much either, because I know that, you know, you don't want to hear me rambling on about it. You just want to look at it. You want to enjoy it. I will add information as we go. People who watch my streams know that I use a ducking technique that will pull the audio down when I try and talk, but generally I'm going to try to let you enjoy it a bit. There will be aspects of this show later where you just get to listen to the game and how it is. The sound design is amazing. I really want you guys to have a nice immersive experience here, and I'll talk and supplement the footage with what we see. You're going to see new mechanics. You're going to see new user interface. You're going to see all kinds of little things. Remember when Heart of Thorns came out and the character select screen changed and all of that? Yeah. You can expect a little bit more of the same. Maybe a bit less so, but it should be pretty good. So you guys ready? Let's watch it. Also, I was playing in 16:10 because that is the master race for Guild Wars 2. So yeah, it's 16:10 aspect ratio. We've got 14 minutes of the starting story instance. Let's go. So it's the first instance, Sparking the Flame. And here we are taking off from Lion's Arch. And so as you can tell here we are taking off from Lion's Arch. This is the part of the story that we may get between the two patches. And you can see us going through all the different maps. You can kind of tell the route that they take on the airship. Yes, we do not start the expansion going through the Ebonhawk Gate. I know. Bust out your crying emotes there, guys. We do not do it. We fly across the unending ocean. Which, by the way, they already hinted at in Episode 6. If you read the story journal in Episode 6, your character says that you're going to book passage across the ocean, and that's what you do. And here we are in the new areas.
Doesn't look like we made it to Amnoon.
Sorry for the change of plans, but we saw smoke coming from that pyramid. Keel gave us orders, so we're going in.
Yeah, it's not really the unending ocean. It's more like the Sea of Sorrows. But here we go. So look at the rubble in the background. We're actually flying in on the airship. I'm so glad they put this at the start of a story instead of the end, which is what they've been doing with the other products. This is so cool. You'll see a bit of vibration on my character. That is not the engine being buggy. That is Siege striking the pyramids. Look at the pillar falling off. Look how cool this is. We get a reference to Keel as well. Oh.
If you'd like to stay on board, we'll get you to Amnoon as soon as we get back.
I didn't come this far to sightsee. I'm going with you.
So, I had to rebind everything. I had a crappy build with crappy gear. I don't usually play that much warrior. and I got distracted. You'll notice I have a utility skill kick, and it's got 3 charges. There's a new ammunition mechanic in the game, and they've done balances. So there's these little cuts here as basically I spend like 10 minutes trying to get to a point where I'll be able to play the game reasonably well.
It could sink at any moment.
That came from inside.
And even then, by the way, this is going to be a struggle for me. They actually warned us that the balance was a bit off at the moment, and it was easy to do on Condi, but power builds not so much. But so there you go, you get the Forge, and we go into the pyramid.
Burn me. They're killing for sport. These must be the Forge you heard about.
Let's wait for that introduction until after we're done.
There are any left, eh, Commander?
So what's amazing, guys, watch as I attack mobs. Look at the health bar. They got a new thing on the UI where health like sort of gets semi-chunked down. It's just a tiny little bit of flavor, but it's flavor I've wanted to see in Guild Wars 2 for ages. It makes it feel a lot meatier attacking stuff now. Also pay attention as you watch this to all the descriptive text under enemies, because it shows that they're more complicated mechanically than, you know, the core stuff, at least as good as the Heart of Thorns thing. We got enemies that reflect conditions, reflect projectiles, do all kinds of new animations and stuff. And this is what I'm talking about, right? Like, Heart of Thorns open, we were just fighting more Mordrum. This is all new, and it feels totally fresh. Also, the combat music is ridiculous here.
Wait, it's only one unit.
Welcome to the desert, Commander.
And you are...
Balthazar's herald. And I have an oath for you.
Alright, so yeah, we fight the Herald of Balthazar. This is the first kind of boss. Really easy, but super tanky. You basically attack it to like 25% of its health, and it gets this big shield and tries to run away. But the story is quite dark. If you look at what the Heralds are actually doing, it's not attacking me. It's charging around, killing the Lion Guard and the people in the area, just slaughtering them, like indiscriminately murdering them. They also drop this fire. Bit of advice for people: the enemies drop fire like that, and it hurts like any kind of environmental fire that was in the game before. So make sure you stand away from it. I got myself killed several times by standing in fire. So anyway, you can see how long it's taken me to grind them down. I think it's mostly because the build is bad and because the tuning's a bit off at the moment. But yeah, what? She just walks away.
Save us!
Get the civilians out of here. Don't give her any more targets.
You can join his army, or be crushed by it. Come with me.
Vitus, hold position here and help these people. I'm going after her.
But that's exactly what she wants.
I know. I'll be fine. Be ready for any other survivors I send your way.
Aye, Commander.
So here you'll see what they're doing is they're making us run a lot, and they're making us chase a character down. If you pay attention to the minimap right now, you'll see some new tech they've got in the personal story, where they actually dynamically change the boundaries of the personal story instance as you go. So like you see the red box that would kick you out if you went to the wrong place, that moved dynamically, and if you keep your eye on it, you'll see that personal story instances in this expansion can have much broader scope and go much further because they can actually change that on the fly now. You're going to see another new thing that they do in the story in just a second too, where renown hearts, which we saw came back from maps, they actually exist in story steps now too. And how well they use that remains to be seen. That could be annoying, or it could be a really nice tool for them. For what I've played, I thought it was pretty good. But so yeah, we got this little town. It's been attacked by lots of forged. Oh yeah, so if people are wondering why I'm not playing Spellbreaker, it's because it wasn't available in this part of the day. We will see me playing Spellbreaker, don't worry, but just not in the PvE stuff. This is just Berserker with the core balance changes that I think we can expect in a little while. The change to kick, for example, and some other stuff like that.
Oh, is it ever? You're his in life and in death.
Drop the shield!
I'll find you again soon.
Adrenaline rise,
Friends will take it from here.
So somebody just asked, what are the yellow flashing numbers? Well spotted. So there are yellow numbers you'll see every now and then. The yellow numbers are a new mechanic called Barrier. And there's a lot going on with Barrier in the new Elite Specializations, which I'm going to be showing you guys very, very soon. Specifically, if you are going to be, if you like the idea of, basically, if you're an Necro player, you've got a lot to learn about and to see. But enemies have it as well, yeah. So sometimes, if you watch their health bar, they basically get sort of like a shield on top of it. It's called Barrier. We'll talk more about it a little bit later. And yeah, I mean, it's not great. You're not here for pro warrior gameplay. And besides, it's on like celestial stats or some crap. Like, honestly.
Outlander, over here.
So they call us an Outlander? Any Morrowind fans out there? Oh my god, I loved getting called an Outlander. That's kind of your title for the X-Pack.
They're gone? Oh, thank you.
I need to get through that gate.
Here, take this.
You carry a fire extinguisher with you.
Well, Keel said we should bring insurance for the voyage.
And so here's a bit of the map. You'll notice it's expanded a lot more to the south. Sorry, I don't have any great footage of the world map. I am so ashamed.
Can you? That's it. Climb into the saddle while it's calm.
Here we go.
Now ride. Raptor will get you where you need to go.
And so this is the mount. I've got to say, guys, I've never been much of a fan of mounts. I've never thought we needed them that much. I think they can work just as well as gliding worked for Heart of Thorns, and that if new maps and environments are designed for them as like a mastery progression system, I think it can work. But I was never super hyped about mounts. I was never super excited. These things feel really good. They feel really awesome. The best way I can describe it is there's a bit of delay. Like, it feels like it's kind of riding around on a horse in Shadow of the Colossus, or there's an actual slight delay as you move around. It feels like a separate entity, but not in a really clunky, horrible way. Here's the jump of the raptor, and you can see how they've designed things here, right? We're doing a heart in a story quest on a mount, right? We've got one skill. Now, that one skill, if we use that, it's an attack, but it dismounts us at the same time. It's excellent. It's really cool. So we need the mount to jump the gaps, to be able to find the allies to res, and so on. The detail on the mounts is really impressive. All the little sound effects, all you know, the way that they growl and things as you move, as they clomp down. It's excellent. It is very, very, very cool. There's really a lot of detail on it. You can kind of tell that they've had a team working for like 2 years on it. You know, the whole duration. So basically here, just finishing the heart. The heart is saving people, learning how to ride your mount, and classic, of course, using buckets of water to put out fires. It wouldn't be Guild Wars 2 without hearts, in which you use buckets to put out fires. I was a bit disappointed in this, because in Heart of Thorns they had like expanding and contracting fires and stuff, and on this one they didn't do it. But there you go, so you save the town, and the raptor becomes available. You get the heart in the middle of the story step, and you claim it. And once you've claimed it, you will properly unlock it. It will trigger a new thing on the user interface. I would say look at weapons, where the weapon swap button is, and then look to the right of the elite.
For your help.
Are you sure?
One less raptor is the least of our problems.
Thanks.
It'll help you cover ground faster. You'll need it.
The mine gate is operational again. Go through there. It'll take you to Amnoon.
So here's a very cool feature with the mounts. If we go to our dye panel, once you've got them, you'll see there's a new mount section up at the top. And you can dye your mounts with any of your existing dyes. This guy only has one channel. I'm guessing they'll do gemstone mounts that have got multiple dye channels or something. That's just a guess of mine there. But yeah, you can dye them. I'm keen to use my permafrost, so of course I have to go with a hot pink dye. Someone asked how you swap mounts. You right-click the X button, which is a new bind. And the more mounts you get, they list them there. So you got the Raptor, and then later when you get the Skimmer, it will appear there. And you hot swap on and out off with X as the default bind, but you can change it. There's new options, by the way. The faster you move on a mount, there's motion blur, and there's new options to scale that. I really shouldn't talk about this because we got a whole section with Bog about this and how this all works. So I'll just let you guys enjoy the next bit of the story where we sort of traverse the mine.
Glad to see you. I got trapped in here with these things. Look, we have to run. Can I climb on?
I'm not in a running mood.
So listen as I walk on the rails here. Listen to the footstep sound effects. I know that the game's always had this tech, but...
By the sea. Who are you? An outlander?
Yes, from across the Sea of Sorrows. I'm here to stop Balthazar.
Yeah, me too.
Somebody asked if mounts are available in core maps as well. I'm pretty sure gloves are off. I'm pretty sure I can say whatever I want. I'll live with the consequences later. Yeah, apparently they are going to be in core maps as well. So I've heard apparently they will be in core maps. I actually think that might be a bit of a mistake because people need to understand that mounts have been built for new environments, just like gliding. Because we're going to get that silly thing of, oh, but there's waypoints. But apparently, yes, you can.
Interference. Try get higher ground if you can.
Higher ground. Right. If you can hear me, I'll try to reach you later. Repeat, I'll try to reach you later. Hello. I'm just going to assume you heard that.
Yeah, I knew you guys would be hyped about the core, because they thought of it just like gliding. Gliding came to core. Why wouldn't mounts? It's just fun. It's just extra.
People trying to get in.
So there I cut a lot of story. Ritlock comes back. We talk to Casimir. You can pause and look at the chat if you want down there. But I thought people might whinge about spoilers. And there you go. That's the story instance. And we exit out into the Crystal Oasis. Pretty exciting, right, guys? But that's not all. That is not all. We have lots more to come. Gonna take a bit of a breather. Remember, you should be paying attention to little details. I'm gonna ask you questions about this soon. Can you glide in expansion? Oh my god. WP, how much of the story have you played? That's about it. That's really, I know, like the opening thing, right? Okay. So I want to show you guys a bit of open world now, and it's very montagey. We were having issues where we were getting DCs and all kinds of stuff. The open world is gorgeous. It's really fun to explore. You're going to see how different the game feels now that we've got a raptor we can travel around with. They've got NPCs that ride mounts. They've got all kinds of stuff, all right? It's great, okay? Same thing as before. I'll just mostly let you guys enjoy it and interject and talk where it's actually necessary. So, you guys ready for this? Does your mount fly? One of them does, the skimmer. But that's not in this demo. The demo that I played. And presumably everyone will be playing at some point. So check it out. You got all these players around. It's crazy, isn't it? It feels like it feels so MMO-y seeing other people running around on other mounts, doesn't it? You got NPCs. We got all this gorgeous stuff going on. This is what Peachy was really good at. She like looked really close detail at all the different things. And I was just like, my god, I'm in the Crystal Desert. I'll just pick a direction and go. So I just kind of ran out and look at look at the draw distance. It might be kind of subtle. It might be kind of difficult to tell, but when you're playing it, you really can feel it. Seeing those cliffs in the background, for example, and those trees way back there. And we go out into those farms. You'll see there's a vulture up above one of those houses. Seriously, if you scrutinize this footage, you'll see lots of little different things and different ambient creatures. You can see little chickens or pigeons run away from my feet there as I ran past on the raptor. Here are the sand eels that I talked about before. And there's my abominable failure. If you think I'm a bad warrior, there's my abominable failure to try and dismount and attack it. It says it summons Elva or something in its flavor text. I'm not quite sure what that was. Here, if you'll notice, one of the people running around with me has a mini Abogger on. Has a mini Abogger. That's the only thing that we see of an Abogger. But Aboggers are in this expansion. Because of course we know we're going quite far south. So, yeah, that's something I really wanted from this region of the world. That is the only footage that will appear of an Abogger. Because a dev was running around with the mini. But it is there. And then we like DC'd and I had to edit. I'm sorry about that, guys. So yeah, you might be wondering about... Oh, no, look. I'll leave the mount details for when we get Richie on. It'll be fine. We'll do that later. So here we got Arid Doliacs in their actual habitat. I think we see these in World vs. World packed up. So they're not entirely new, but we get to see these. There's these interesting, like, roaming herd-like characters. Lots of new things to gather as well. I mean, there was kind of two things playing this. I was like, do I just mouse over everything and see every recipe and see all of the stuff? Or do I, you know, just go for general exploration? So, Crystal Deserts Explorer Orimamba Sand Sea discovered. Here we've got a sand shark. That's a prairie dog, little ambient creature that's up there as well. I think we'll get a better look at one of those later. Here, I'd resolved... I'd understood at this point. I was so bad at the skill 1, I'd just watched this engineer fight. And no, it's not a holomancer, again, because we cannot elite spec right now. Sad we can't ride a yak. Yeah, I mean, I wonder how they'll do stuff like that. Because it's not like you can, like, have a raptor skin that comes out of a blackline chest that becomes a Dolyak. So I'm not quite sure how they'll do that. But yeah, it's a good question. So here's the outpost. Maybe what we were looking at in the trailer that can potentially get attacked by the Forge. Maybe. On the right, you'll see some... I can't remember what they're called. Some roaming creatures. You guys are going to be really excited. If you're like me, you're going to be really excited by what you're about to see. Honestly, one of my favorite things about this little bit of exploration of the whole demo, it made me really happy to see, and answered some of my concerns with Heart of Thorns. If you guys have watched my review of Heart of Thorns, you'll know one of my big ones. The answer is about to come. So naturally, by the way, I've gone to the very edge of the demo and pushed the bounds. We're going to unfog an area called Elona Reach here. Oh, it's Elona Reach! That was a Guild Wars 1 mission and a part of the Trials of Ascension. But check it out, there's an NPC here. Oh, and a beautiful building over there that we can't get to. WP has been coy about gliding. No, you can glide. Gliding's in it. Gliding's there. I'm not being coy. I just will have missed the questions. Here we go. Check it out. So two things. First of all, this is clearly a raptor jump once you've got the mastery higher. But here we have Elite Nasrin Davish. Hi, she says, if you're looking to cross the bridge, you'll need a raptor. I'd conjure you a path, but Mirage magic makes mirrors, not walkways. I wouldn't try to step on them. Mirage magic, we can ask? And she goes on. And we can ask her all kinds of things. What makes Mirage magic, a Mirage, different from a typical Mesmer? Do you always carry around that axe? Why are you out here? We have actual lore and real things about the elite specializations in the expansion. So they've actually answered that. You won't just become like a scrapper and not really have any real reason beyond messages outside of the game to understand who you are or what you've become. There is elite spec lore in the Crystal Desert. There are lots of different elites all around who will talk to you about your elite specialization and what it means to be what you are. And that's awesome to me. That's so hyped to me. So, oh my god, that's what I thought was a Marganite. They're not Marganites. It's that guy. They're just minions of Balthazar that are purple. Well, there you go. We learn things all the time. Sarufi Sansi. Can see some new enemy tech here with the blocks, I guess. They'll be a bit like Guardian Walls, I suppose, just animated a bit differently. And here's the cool moment. Here's a cool moment. Ah, it's a Hydra. It's actually a Hydra. So I came past this guy several times. This is the time where I fought him. So watch his opening ability. He casts Meteor on us. There's so much cool stuff going on here on this fight, all right? I missed the friggin' mount attack again. But check it out. He's got elemental attack. He charges and he summons meteors, right? So we're going to fight this Hydra. I think he's also fighting the ambience in the area. And watch what happens as we hit him below 33% health. Each time we get him below 33% health. What might you guys think this guy does? He's got huge amounts of CC. I should have brought Balance Stance or something. So look, we got him below 33%. One of his heads fell off. You actually chop one of his heads off. And now, just like the Triple Trouble worm in Bloodtide Coast, there is a worm head wriggling about on the desert next to me that I also have to kill. And then another head comes off. How cool is this? I mean, I think it's badass. I think it's so cool. And then as a final attack as well, I think he casts like, he's got a giant like launch or float attack or something if you watch very closely when we take him out. So, you know, like, this is the kind of quality that they put into these things. I mean, this is cool, right? They didn't just take a badass creature, but they did interesting things with it as well. So, yeah, he dies, and he launches us in the air as he dies. Awesome stuff. I mean, I was happy just seeing one of the goddamn guys, let alone that. Beautiful. Moving on past the Hydra a little bit. Here we see a little bit of another mastery. All the masteries are tied to mounts on this one, guys. But here's another one. It's a pile of quicksand, a bit like Dry Top, but much more damaging to go into. You don't have any Zephyrite crystals to get across. Massive CCs and ticking damage. The sign there, I think, says warning quicksand. I can't read New Crichton very well these days, but I think that's what it says. And here we've got a skimmer who, presumably, if it wasn't the demo, I could walk over and press F on and claim for myself. Which I think is a bit underwhelming. I would have liked to have had, like, really cool ways to get each one. Like, having a personal story mission to get the Raptor was cool. Maybe the rest should have been like that. But yeah, and then with the skimmer, so you can see this is how it works as a mastery system, how mounts work as masteries. You cannot travel the quicksand areas until you have the skimmer, and then, you know, you're going to have to build it up. So that's sort of the way that they've done that, and that whole area is sort of inaccessible to us, therefore, in the demo. There's more to that area back there is from the trailer as well. Of course, that we saw a little bit of. Some kind of outpost that's been captured by Balthazar. Oh yeah, and we did have a bit of an animation bug with the mount. We show the good and bad here, ladies and gents. And so back to Amnoon. I mean, there's so much to look at Amnoon as well. There's so much to look at. We can talk to all these different characters. There's a Herald guy there. Here you'll hear, we got a bit Dry Top music going on in the background. I have heard reasonable amounts of the soundtrack. They do use some of the old areas of the soundtrack. Here's a bank. So there is a bank and a TP and stuff, but it's not quite a full official city. It's sort of like Ebonhawk, right? It's a city within a map, but not necessarily a map city. I know that there are a lot of us out there who want that from an expansion, but I don't know whether the devs will have done that. We've actually got 6 maps, really, because they got the Guild Hall, and then they got 5 maps. And each of the 5 maps are enormous. Like, this demo area you're looking at is just such a tiny slice. Just a tiny little slice of the first map, honestly. And it couldn't make me happier. How hard was it on my PC? The PC I was playing this on was worse than my home PC, and I was getting a solid 90 plus frames. I don't think it will be much more taxing than Heart of Thorns was. And we're coming to the end of our open world exploration here in just a moment. We're going to come up around. We're going to see some more worms. Does this video have reshade on? No, it does not. I am playing it through VLC, and I run a little bit of post-process on VLC just because VLC washes it out, so I do that to counter-correct it. But no, I did not run reshade. I knew that I was going to be doing this stream, so I tried to be somewhat true to life, right? If you can run the game on Ultra, this is basically what the game will look like. Are you faster with mounts? Yeah, definitely. It's a great question, though. I didn't really think about it until I was editing this footage up. So here's a cool example of the jumps you can do as the Raptor, right? And look at how big that sand shark is. Also, I wonder what that parasol was back there. That's interesting. Yeah, I don't know what the actual speed increase is, though. 40% maybe, it feels like? Something like that. And then the jump, obviously, is really quick. So they actually have mounted races in the game. They have mounted races. And you'll see that a little bit later. But they do actually have that. And so there's a question of, like, is bunny hopping the fastest way to get around? Do you run up hills but jump down hills? And when I say races, I mean against other players. It's very, very, very cool. So we got some cool little creatures in a pen. In the farm areas. Just generally in the outskirts of Amnoon. How many masteries are there? 4. There's 1 for each mount that they've got added to the game. So there's only 4. Some of the Heart of Thorns ones were a bit lackluster anyway, so maybe 4 is a good idea. I think that there's space to do non-mount masteries, personally. But essentially, they just looked at what gliding was and how people enjoyed gliding. They were like, right, let's just double down on that. Let's just go BD on that. and I think they did really well with it. Really well with it. Bog may have more information for you guys about the kind of masteries that you can get and that stuff. Oh, and then finally, yeah, so we're nearing the end here. So this is over at the mine. So we've seen a lot of these little guys, these little Choya guys. And what we're going to do is we're going to kill them. And I noticed the devs very slyly didn't show this on any of their footage. But watch the death animation of these cute little guys. They look like Quaggan had sex with cactuses or something. But check them out. Look at this. They explode in a beautiful, gory fashion into fruits. They're kiwi fruit. Like, watch this guy very closely when we kill him. Watch. Look at the detail that they put on this, right? Ready? It's brilliant. How cool is that? So they turn into, so these guys are little watermelon. I love the idea. I actually like the lore implications of that. And people traveling around. I don't know what the blue ones explode into. People traveling around the desert trying to kill those guys. Specifically to feast on their insides. So yeah, if you actually look just very briefly there, I had a dynamic event on me, which was a mounted race. And yeah, really, this is most of the open world exploration that I've got for you guys. Give you a nice perspective, I think, on what the game is like.
Raptors are the best by far. They can jump over anything.
And there we go. And we will return to that a little bit later. So there you have it, guys. Let's have a quick look at our schedule. Let's see, what time is it? It's past. And, oh, we're right on time. I'm actually doing this really well here. Yeah, okay, cool. So, who's up for some more gems? This should be very cool. So, question 2. Question 2. Guild Wars Path of Fire Mastermind. Get ready, guys. Who was paying attention? Now, just wing it. Type anything you like. Okay? And we will see who gets it right. I wonder if anyone will. And it's not because I'm a greedy dragon trying to hoard gems. We'll do a do-over if nobody gets it right. Of what you just saw, I have a question for you. That question is, we met an elite Mirage in the desert. What was her name? By the way, the answer to none of these is ever going to be 42. It's never going to be 42. And no, the answer is not Mirage. She had a name. What was her name? You may have to go back through the VOD. This is amazing. I love it. This is so cool. Oh, some people might be getting it. They might be getting it. Oh, very exciting. Very exciting indeed, is it not, guys? Okay, cool. So there you go. That's question 2. And we're a little bit early, because I assumed the gem giveaways would take an awful lot longer than that. We're a little bit early, but I'm going to go see if I can get Peachy on to show you a little bit more of the environments that we're going to be going through. Her experience of some of those story places. There will be a little bit of, you know, the same stuff we've seen, but different perspectives. People were asking me about gliding. There will be gliding there. If you guys have got any questions for me, please feel free to ask them now. So listen, what I'm going to be doing, I'm primarily a YouTuber, not really a Twitch streamer. What I'm going to be doing over the next few days on YouTube is pulling questions from people about the expansion, because I played it, because there's going to be a lot of stuff I know about it that just didn't make it into my presentation here today. And so if anyone's got any questions, I will do my best to answer them to the foremost of my understanding. And I'll be doing like a big Q&A and stuff on YouTube as well. So I'm just going to ping Peachy and see if she's ready. And we will continue going. She's actually streaming her own show at the moment over on her channel. And we're going to do a bit of a double up. And until she appears, we will... Look at all this copy-paste in Twitch chat. Twitch chat's so easy to lead astray. What if that's not the right answer, guys? Whoa. So build template, I heard nothing about build templates. I saw nothing about build templates. The recent AMA suggested, I think, that there could be something going on with build templates, but I don't actually know that. Not for a fact. Can you guys go to Peachy's stream and tell her that I'm ready? Because on Discord, it sets you into streaming mode, and I don't know whether she'll see it. If someone goes do that, then you'll be a hero. And we'll be straight back in game, guys. We'll be seeing a lot more. She's got some amazing footage of like little cat families and things, and beautiful curtains and see-through cloths and stuff, and the way a lot of the NPCs look. And there's apparently an Easter egg as well that I missed. A Guild Wars 1 Easter egg in the first instance, which I didn't get. Maybe she caught it. I don't know. I don't know all of her footage. New legendary weapon, the AMA, they announced that, man. That's, you know, you're squandering an opportunity here. They said that they're just going to keep doing them in Living Wild. And don't forget, right, September 22nd, can we just take a second to geek out about that? September 22nd is no time at all away. And then we're going to be looking for Season 4. It's going to be so good, guys. This is what the game always needed. It's insane. So the idea, oh, will there be a legendary weapon, you know, like a month or two after it comes out? Yes, because there'll be another episode and another map. It's going to be ridiculous. I had a good question up there. Is the Guardian Elite spec more support or just Condi? we can ask Peachy about that actually, because she played it and I didn't play that one, as I said at the start of the stream. So we'll ask her. Let's see if we can get her on.
Hello, hello.
Hello, Peachy. How's it going? Are you on the main channel? Are you seeing how it's going?
It has been whiplash over here. I've not been able to tune in.
Oh my god. Okay.
How's it going?
Yeah, not bad. Someone just asked me, is the Guardian spec support or Condi? And I never played it, so I thought I'd just ask you.
It's got the kits, so I think it's kind of a little bit of everything.
Okay.
It can be DPS, healing, Condi.
Oh, I don't know about that. I want them to have specific niches. Well, there you go. So apparently it's got a bit of Condi.
It might be. Don't take that as gospel.
Okay. Yeah, we're not on here to grill you about the Guardian Elite spec. So you...
I was not expecting these questions.
So you've got some great footage of the environments and cool little areas around the buildings. Basically a lot of things that I never captured. You did gliding and in places that I didn't. And what we're going to do, guys, is we're going to show off a cool little montage that Peachy has wonderfully created for us. And we'll get another perspective of the demo and the things that are going on. All right, so you ready, Peachy?
I am ready.
All right, so 3, 2, 1, go. And this should be it. And hopefully you guys will have to tell me if the audio levels are good. We tried to test it the other day, but
yeah.
Can never be too sure about that. So yeah, this is just the opening cutscene, which everyone already saw. What did you think of this, for what it's worth? Did you like it?
Well, I was impressed. I thought it was a lot longer than I expected, and it was a nice transition into the desert.
Yeah. Were you expecting the Ebonhawk Gate?
No.
See, a lot of us were expecting the Ebonhawk Gate. I mean, I prefer this, honestly. Flying in on an airship with rubble and stuff falling off of the pyramids is so badass.
Oh, so cool. I actually learned that they had to create entirely new technology for this scene where you're coming down on a moving platform on the airship.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So that was pretty cool. And I know you guys have already seen this footage a lot, so we're going to get into a lot more details and the nitty-gritty and the beautiful little details of the maps soon. But I really wanted to show off this first instance. As you saw, the falling rocks on the side as you come in. You'll see in a second I'm going to glide off this platform, and there's going to be things in the environment that react to you moving closer to them. And that's kind of what I tried to show off here is just the beauty of these environments. And right away you get the scope. You can see the scope of these pyramids.
Yeah, I thought it was really exciting.
Massive.
I thought it was really exciting just the idea of going into a pyramid instantly. Like, if I think, oh, desert, RPG desert, that's the first thing I always want to do. I want to plunder a pyramid. And it's like, okay, we'll let you do that.
And the pyramid on fire. Look at the snake.
Yeah, I never noticed this stuff. I felt so embarrassed looking at your footage because I was like, I didn't notice any of this. Look at the giant balcony up there. I wasn't paying any attention. I was like, ooh, new user interface. I feel like it's such a failure, basically.
Yeah, it was like, I mean, just the fire looked so cool. And this is just me playing organically as a player. I wasn't thinking like, oh, I need to, record footage to show everybody. Like, this was just me naturally looking at these environments and being impressed by how they looked. And everything is so much more gorgeous in game. I can't even express to you guys, with video compression and streaming it, it looks just, it's breathtaking when you get in game. Like, just the fire looks more realistic and it's everywhere. Little NPCs running through. Everything is so well scripted.
Yeah, like, I didn't even notice these NPCs. How did you? I didn't even see them. I played solo. I didn't even know there was a horde of people running away when I played. But did you spend a lot of time looking at the mounts as well? I mean, we got a section on that later.
Right. Yeah. Oh, it took me a while to figure out the mechanics and stuff of the mounts, but the animations on the mounts are beautiful.
Yeah, definitely. I think everyone is going to be geeking out about that majorly. Someone just said, oh, why is the skill bar hidden? She's not on an elite spec, guys. It's fine. There's no elite spec.
No, this is just base Guardian. I just had a recording issue. I didn't realize that it was recording in the wrong resolution. So sorry about the skill bar being cut off. It's not like I'm not hiding anything.
Oh no, there's all the secrets down there. There's crazy
stuff. Look at the walls. Look at the walls. The texture on the frickin' walls is impressive.
Yeah,
the detail is off the chart.
What is that they're basically drawing on? It's like I want to say it's like a Middle Eastern kind of style, but I feel like my ignorance would get the better of me instantly.
Oh, I would be the same way.
Okay.
Look at the detail. Look at the costumes. Oh my
so
gosh.
That's like an Alolan Priestess of Cormyr as well. This is what I love that you did.
Beautiful.
Going into all these little buildings. Are those cages in this room? Is this a prison?
This is some kind of prison. Yeah, I don't know for sure. I'm sure if you talk to the NPCs, they can tell you, you know, they told you like what it was. I think it said maybe a warden, but yeah, look at the prisons and the cells. There's someone actually in the cell. This guy's like, he's like fixing something. Maybe someone like escaped through the
See, look at there's a quaggan on the shelf.
There's a quaggan on the shelf. There's a cat on the top. Look at the cat.
Is this like confiscated stuff? Have they've taken stuff off of the people and thrown
It
them in
might
jail?
be contraband.
That's crazy. Oh yeah, I do see the cat. Wow. Oh, I wonder if we'll get any in our home instance. I can't believe I find myself wondering that now.
I want dogs in my home instance so
Me
bad.
too, man.
I'm a
Me
dog
too.
person.
Hell yeah, high five on that.
I love the use of color because, and they even said this in the announcement trailer, right? When you think of desert, you just think of like sand dunes and maybe some pyramids. They went so above and beyond with these environments. There's richness and color, and you run through the environments. You're gonna see some of the raptor racing and how it takes you through the environments. I really suggest anybody, whenever you guys get your hands on the demo, I really suggest when you get to the raptor race, do that raptor race because it's gonna take you through all of these environments, and you're just gonna really get a sense of.
It's like a tour of the map,
through.
right?
Exactly, it's a tour of the map. Look at the scope of this. It's just unbelievable.
What is that? A flying kite? Oh yeah, look, and there's all these parasols and stuff up there. Oh.
Yeah, little kites, like little kites floating in the air.
I didn't even know there was like a whole way to explore on the roofs. I had no idea. I've got to say, you did better than me.
I'm gonna climb this thing. I'm like, this is big. I'm gonna climb it. I'm gonna see how high I can go.
What?
And gliding, of course. I've already had the question. You know, can you still glide in Path of Fire? Yes, you can.
Yeah, people have been asking that a lot. Basically, you get everything you want everywhere, guys. That's the answer to that.
Yes.
It is ultimate freedom. That's what they haven't put any limits
Unless it
on.
like breaks a jumping puzzle.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Do you think because we have disabled gliding areas, do you think we'll have mount disabled areas as well?
Yes, I asked about that. Yes, they will disable if a mount will break a jumping puzzle. It'll be disabled just like gliding.
Wow. Okay, that's pretty interesting. So here's the race, the mount
Yes.
race. Did you do well on this? I did terrible on this.
Oh, I did I think I came in last.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool. I'll take that.
I was
not
actually
last.
being distracted by everything in the environment, and like I kept like going the wrong way and falling down and not jumping where I needed to jump.
It is brilliant though. So just so
Well,
that
look at,
everyone
like-
knows, we got cut out in the middle of this, right? We all got DC'd in the middle of the race.
This is the first. I did a full race, and then
Oh,
at the
you
very end
jammy.
of the demo, we did another race. Yes, so I actually got a full race in.
Oh, that's cool. Okay,
You're
so
just
I've never
seeing part
seen
of it
this.
here,
I don't
but-
have a full race for you guys. Oh, do they spawn mobs around the race? Is that what happens? The
Yeah.
sand sharks spawn because of the race?
I don't know if they
That's so
spawned because of the race, and that lightning. I don't know what that was.
cool. Yeah, me neither. I don't think
I don't know
I've
if that
seen
was an
I wonder how
event
this
or-
works with other events intersecting onto it. Because we saw a little bit of that, right? Because people just race past.
Yeah. Yeah, the fire that we went past in the field, I think that was because of an event. So I don't think events and stuff, I think if you're in the race, it doesn't disturb you. Like, you won't suddenly get into combat unless you veer very far off. I didn't try it, but I'm assuming that's how it works because, you know, I can run right through enemies and I didn't get stopped by them.
Oh, there's a good example of the full
Oh,
damage
here-
on a mount.
Yes, no fall damage. You do fall off your mount, and your skill goes off if you have if you're traded for protecting from falling damage. But you don't die. Your mount just disappears, and you can get right back on them.
Oh, so if I trait to, you know, if I'm a warrior and I trait to create an explosion on the ground where I land, my mount will create that explosion where it lands.
Right.
That is really cool. That is really badass.
Right. Yeah. Comment over here. Yes, the race music is Sanctum Sprint, which is really cool.
I noticed it looked a bit like a guild race as well, in that it was saying how many people had finished, how many had got to the finish line and stuff. Oh, slice of
Oh, I didn't
watermelon.
even notice that.
Is that new? No, that must be old. 20% down health? Who cares about that? That must be an old food. That's fitting, though. It's nice that they're selling watermelon.
Yeah, just a piece of watermelon, little marketplace. I love the little stars on the side of the bridge. Okay, so here is, I love this. This is one of the heart quests.
I never even did any hearts. I never even did any
So,
hearts. So what is this?
These little tents are amazing. So you go into this tent and you grab either water, food, or medicine, and you bring it to people who need it. And there's little symbols above their heads, which help you. Okay, that person needed water, so I brought them water. And then you go by these tents, and there's enemies in some of the tents. You can see kind of the sand there. So you open up the tent, and there's a snake inside, and so you defeat him. And every single one of these tents has something different in it. And I was just
cool.
so blown away. So much detail. Like that one had like some gold, and cash. This has got one of the choyas. You guys are gonna see it break open here.
This is actually so cool. Oh, look at the little parrots on the crates.
And then those little parrots with the parrot poop.
Oh my god, yeah, you're right. You're right. Oh, that
I
reminds me
mean,
of the Lions Arts
like
puzzle.
that's amazing.
This is actually really impressive. This is very cool.
Yeah.
Because you think they're such big maps, you'd think that the environment artists have compromised to some degree by,
Exactly,
not having
and they
that much
haven't.
small detail. Yeah, and they haven't. They totally haven't.
Yeah. Every single one of the little pieces, little flags has a different different thing on it. Little kittens.
That's
you gotta
like a
protect the
pregnant
mom
cat.
from. Gotta protect the mama cat and her kittens. It's just, it's amazing, and I didn't even scratch the surface in exploring them all.
Did you go to the vendor and see what the hearts sell? Is it like the season 3 kind of rewards?
I didn't.
Ooh, that's a shame. Oh my god, a Zaician Zealot. What is this?
So this is a zealot. They're trying to convert people to Balthazar, because that's what you're gonna see. Is you're gonna see these people trying to convert people to Balthazar's side, and so you're just like, you take them down.
Oh my god, so the Zaician are in the X-Pack. Oh, this is brilliant.
Yes.
And we got the nice little fountains and things here. I mean, it really does feel very fresh, right? Very, very new.
Very fresh, very new. Like I said, so much color and vibrance, especially in the city. Really reminds me a lot of like that one city in Nightfall, where everything was very bright and colorful, and you just get so much of this here, and so much detail. And like I said, this isn't even like, this does no justice to how it actually looks in game. It looks so sharp and so detailed. It's just so beautiful. I just, this is what I did, like, with my time. We got very limited time with the game, and I just organically wanted to look at the environments because they just stunned me.
I think you did a really good job.
Detailed they were.
This harbor looks awesome. I never even came to this harbor. This was where on the trailer we saw the skimmer flying across, gliding across the water, right? Oh, what does that say up there? In New Crichton? I don't suppose
I don't
know.
know. I can't read it.
What, something about a carnival or something?
I think this is the casino.
A casino?
This little, you didn't, there's a casino,
I didn't go to a casino. What is this? Oh my god.
I love the signs that say no raptors. It's got a person on a raptor and the no symbol.
Oh, I did see one of those. Yeah. Okay, so I guess
I actually asked the dev. I said, well, why did they let me come in with my raptor? And they're like, oh, well, you're the commander. You're special.
Oh, what is that? I want to get kicked off. That's cool though. So can you actually play mini games and things in here? Or is
I don't know if there's mini games. There is a dance floor, as you can see. Look at the color. Look at the oranges and the blues.
People in chat are saying ecto gambling. I don't know if they're saying that as a joke, but if you look at Peachy's mini map right now, there is an ecto icon there. So I'm guessing you can ecto gamble. Maybe they got a new system. Maybe it's like a roulette version of it. I think. Oh, wouldn't that be cool?
Well, it is a casino, so you're going to be able to gamble. I don't know why there's an Iboga on the dance floor, but hey, he's grooving.
Oh, was there another Iboga as well? Oh, there's me. There's me. I was behind you there. Sorry. While you were looking at this lovely lady.
Oh, I didn't even notice.
My character was in the background running around. Apparently I was here, but not the casino.
The textures on her hair are unbelievable. You cannot tell it in the video, but they're so detailed.
Yeah, I can vaguely get the sense of what you were talking about when it was.
Which I hear they're the new hairstyles in the game now.
So do you think? What do you mean that we as players will be able to use those?
I hope so. I haven't took a look at them yet, but apparently right now in makeover kits, there's some new hairstyles from Path of Fire.
Oh, really? I saw there was a patch just before all of this started.
And go all the way over to the right, because I think they're part of character creation now.
What is that aquarium? Look at that. There's a shark in it. That's cruel. Right,
There's
right
a
way.
shark in the aquarium. It goes up to the ceiling.
Why does he have a Super Adventure Box fish icon? What's he? That's crazy.
He wants to play Super Adventure Box. He's looking at the fish. Look, he wants the fish.
Oh, that is so cool. My favorite thing about Divinity's Reach is that like aquarium tunnel place. I can't believe that all the little details they got here. So you're like a pet area now, pet shop. Oh, so that's something as well. We never really talked about much, but what do you think about new ranger pets? What do you think they might go for? Do you reckon we'll get like gorillas and stuff? I don't know, because surely they will add some new ranger pets.
I know we're getting an Iboga.
Oh, is that a new pet? That's very cool.
And yes, and there was some kind of like it was some kind of deer. I didn't recognize it from even Guild Wars 1. Some kind of like I don't know, it looked like a rock deer to me. I forget all the new pets. There's a bunch of them.
Oh, that is cool. So you actually looked at those, did you, while you were checking out Soul Beast, maybe?
I did, yes. I forget what they are now. I could go back and look at my footage and see what they were, but yeah, cool. There's at least 4 new ranger pets.
So there you go, ranger people, because I got no Soul Beast stuff for you. So there's a little bit Peachy carrying. This is great. So these guys are queuing. What is that? The casino again, or is this some kind of theater?
This is a completely separate area. I don't know. It almost looks like a hotel or something, but I'm not sure. I don't remember what exactly this was. I was look at that transparent like curtain.
Yeah, I love this texture. It is gorgeous, isn't it?
So beautiful. I was just disappointed I couldn't walk through it.
Oh yeah, imagine if it like
see it like wave in the wind. Like,
yeah, imagine if it reacted like cloth, like your armor does as you move around.
Oh yes.
You go through it. That would have been really cool. It's
I was
still very
trying to go through it.
I'm now wondering if you can like shadow step through it or whatever. I love seeing mounted NPCs. I gotta say, I never even thought I'd care about it much, but I love just the extra flavor you get as you like that guy just patrolling around on his raptor back or whatever. It feels like the place is so much more alive, so much more thriving. There's so much more going on.
It is. It truly is. It's so alive. It's so full of life and activity, and just I mean I didn't even scratch the surface on all the little details. So I'm excited. I'm really excited to get in and play it more.
Well, that was really awesome. That was so cool. Thanks so much for coming on the show, for showing people a little bit of what you did, and hopefully people are a little bit more excited as well about what is actually at the Amnoon Oasis. Because I spent most of my time miles away fighting things and finding random NPCs out in the distance, not actually checking that place out. So thanks very much, Peachy. I'll let you get back to your stream now. And I know people are itching for it. I'm going to talk to people about Elite Specializations.
Ooh, fun stuff.
Yeah, it should be very good. Thanks again. Have a nice one, and we'll see you later.
Thanks so much, WP. Take care, guys. Have fun.
Take care. All right, guys. There we go. See? So there's a lot there. There's a lot there. I had seen snippets of what she'd done, but I wanted that to kind of be my first experience as we went through. I think that was really awesome. There's a lot of stuff. Okay, Elite Specializations. All right, let me just be clear with you guys. This is, you might already hate me, but this is a part of the show where you might seriously hate me. Okay? Because, hey, I gotta paint a picture for you guys of my experience of Elite Specializations. Basically, mostly having conversation with devs and vaguely looking at the client every now and then. Mostly it's mousing over traits. Mostly it's nitty-gritty, little nerdy details about them rather than flavor. What we got with Heart of Thorns was awesome, where they showed us all of the animations, and, you know, even for the first 3, we got little trailers and stuff like that. You're not going to get that from me. You're not. What you're gonna get is like, oh, the Deadeye has a 1500 damage baseline ability that has 15% more damage per stack up to 7 stacks. You're going to see stuff like that. Oh, the Deadeye's abilities are all 1500 range while they go prone, at which point they can't use WSD, but they can dodge. You're going to get details. And the reason I say you're going to hate it, some people might even like that, but the details you're going to get are going to be kind of potshot. And we're going to start with the Weaver, because the Weaver is by far the most ridiculous thing that I think they did with this expansion. It's a very scary thing that they did in terms of Elite Specializations. As I mentioned earlier, I believe that each Elite Specialization needs a very well-defined place and role. The Weaver is not that. The Weaver is, let's add about 40 new skills to the Elementalist. And people will use it however they'll use it. I mean, it is insane, okay? So yeah, without further ado, let's get into it, shall we? Let's see. So first thing I will say about the Weaver is what they explained before. And that is that it has two attunements at once. Okay? And so we will have a look at that right about now. Oh, okay. Oh, hold on. I was going to show you guys something else. So yeah, we got some art. Okay, so this is the Weaver. It's very pretty, right? He's very pretty. That's the Weaver art. We haven't seen an image where they're all standing side by side like they did for the original Professions and then the Heart of Thorns ones. I want to see that, ArenaNet. I want to see that. Come on, you got to do it. It'll be so cool. Here we go. So let's check out the Weaver. This kind of just blew my mind. It is so impossibly difficult to predict what kind of rotations and things people will do with this. because it is just that comprehensive. So before I press play, I want you to notice a couple of things. First of all, my attunements. Above my skills, if you notice here, there's a big orange bar. That is not there on Core Elementalist. That orange bar represents our attunement. And right now it's just yellow or orange because we're in fire. But what we're technically in is we're in pure fire attunement. We are double attuned to fire. When I select another attunement, I'm going to go to like water or something, and 50% of this bar is going to turn blue, which will represent that I am half fire, half water. When that happens, the two most powerful skills on my bar, which here is Ring of Fire and Fire Grab, those will change to water attunement skills, but I will keep my two fire autos. And the skill 3 in the middle is a dual skill. It's my circles are slightly off. I don't know what's going on with the overlays there. My skill 3 will become a new ability that is a mix of fire and water, just like they explained before. To move over to the utilities for a second, you'll notice we've got Arcane Shield, that's core, but the other ones are all the new type. I can't remember what their stances, sorry. So we get stances, but you notice they've all got charges on them. You might be like, stances with charges? Well, that's like what happened with Kick on the Warrior. What we're looking at is an ammunition mechanic. So like every 30 seconds you gain +1 ammo, and then +1 ammo and +1 ammo up to your max capacity, which changes based on the trait, the skill and the traits and the augments and things you've got. So my max ammo capacity for most of these stances is 2. The elite, I only have an ammo capacity of 1. And it might be really unclear why they're doing that. It's kind of like mantras without the channel time. Or the punishing side of mantras. It might be really unclear why they're doing that, but on some of the other elite specializations, I think it makes a lot more sense. The Deadeye specifically. But we do have, we have ammunition on these. So I'm going to roll a bit of footage now. Again, so much of this is going to be still frames and things. But yeah, and you'll notice that we're called the Ascension is our collection. Oh, there's a lot to look at, guys. The collections I really dug into. I don't know whether the devs wanted me to dig into, but by digging into those, I got region names and I got skins and I got loads of stuff, which won't all appear on this post show. Basically, everything this post show is an abridged version of videos that will be going up on my YouTube channel. All right, here we go. So let's roll through. So yeah, this is the new Heart of the Mist as well. It's amazing the changes that have been going on in the game, right? This is it's all so much to think about, and then it's like, oh yeah, they just had these other huge live updates. So here we've got some of our autos. You're gonna have to pause yourself. I cannot pause on every tooltip. It will just be ridiculous. I've only got about 15 minutes to talk to you guys about this stuff. So yeah, we've got Cauterizing Strike. That is our pure fire sword. So this is the 3 sword abilities. We're sword dagger at the moment. And so, you know, I would think that they'd be very conservative. So here, by the way, you'll check out, this is the Weaver Sword. It's got 3 different stats that, you know, just like the Heart of Thorns ones. There's a new one in the game. It's called Grieving. It is Power Main, Condition Damage Main, Precision and Ferocity Minors. Yeah, just let that sink in for a second. Power Main, Condi Main, Precision and Ferocity. Absolutely nutty and ridiculous. I think will excite a lot of people. Really crazy. But this also, not only is that like super crazy stat type, but also it kind of sums up what the Weaver is. It's a frontline, melee, Condi, power, bruiser. Or mostly Condi, I think is really what it's going for. These are all well overtuned, by the way, as well. When you get to the Mirage, they are absolutely insane, the way that they're overtuned. So here's Flame Uprising, beautiful animations on them all, great tech on them. Just like, remember when the Revenant came in and we had like Mace 3 and it felt meaty and it felt weighty? You get that on all of these skills. So I'm going to go over to a Golem and do some auto attacks on my fire attunement stuff. But so yeah, they've given us, what is it, like 12 new skills. So here we go. So I went to water attunement and now you can already see we've changed the autos to water. We've now got a middle dual skill that is both. And so for every weapon, there is a combination for every potential combination of attunement that changes based on the weapons you're using. So there you can see we've got barrier. There's a Weaver trait, which means whenever you use a dual attack, you gain barrier. Don't forget, it's got to be kind of front-liney, so it needs a lot of ways to sustain in the front line. You're going to see a trait it's got, which gives it just crazy amounts of vitality, like insane amounts of vitality. And then you get all this barrier and stuff on everything you do. And there's so many skills here, I'm a bit worried that some of them will be a bit flavorless. Some of them, you know, what their design is meant to be is going to be really unclear. So now we've gone to air. So now you'll notice we've got the air auto and 2, a combo air and water, and then the water offhand stuff, right? And we get Shearing Edge instead, because we're now a mix of these 2 achievements. So already you can see there's a lot of skills here. But if we go air again right now, we would see the right-hand 3 skills would flip to air skills. We would get the swords, pure air 3 plus ride the lightning and updraft. So it was at this point a dev basically made it clear to me it's not just sword. It's all LE weapons. All of them. So this is a staff weaver. And you'll notice that I have the auto and the 2 from air, and I have the 4 and the 5 from water, and I have an entirely new skill on the 3. Yeah, there's no more overload because you will not be Tempest, right? This is where we see the elite specialization system actually become a thing. You know, Chronomancers will not be enjoying 25% move speed anymore. Or Mirages won't be, sorry. So this, for example, Pile Drive is a beautiful skill. Really powerful animation. It pierces... Look at the flat damage on that, guys. 1,600. And I mean, we're on grieving stats, I think, maybe. I don't know what stats we're on. It's a huge hit, though. Very fast and a long cast time. Look at that. 1.5 second cast time. They've been scared to do long cast times and long wind-ups in the game for a while. So I really like this. Pile Driver feels awesome. And so it doesn't matter if we go... It doesn't matter what order, what orientation of air and earth we are. They both give you Pile Driver. So it's not that insane. But so if we wanted magnetic aura right now, how do we get that? Well, you double tap earth. So I was already in earth and I just pressed earth again. And now we're pure earth, and now we have that aura. So weaving is like stance dancing to the max. So here's the fire earth thing. And if we want to go back to flame burst, we have to double attune to fire, like so, yeah? So it's crazy. Now, to balance that, there is a bit of a take. They did something very cool with the elite specializations on this one. The design is not always pure upgrades. They do take stuff away from you sometimes. So with this, there is now a global 3-second ICD on all attunement swapping. Okay? So here we got some traits. I'm not gonna... You can pause if you like. You can see how ridiculously overtuned they are. Game ferocity based on a percentage of power, 14%, plus just straight up 10% modifier when you swap. It's ridiculous. Compare that to the Tempest stuff. Weaver's Prowess. The top line is just crazy damage. 10% duration, 10% damage, sorry, Condi damage, and 20% duration. I'm pretty sure the foods are gonna get nerfed. There's just crazy, crazy damage on these. They are majorly overtuned. I don't know whether it will be like this when the actual release comes, and then they'll nerf them down a little bit later. But if you like the idea of getting like ridiculously powerful, look at all the vitality on that. 120 vitality, and then loads of conversion stuff on top of it as well. We got stab on there. Again, you know, there is such a short window before this expansion comes out. They cannot give us elite specializations and information about the elite specializations in the same way they did before. So there's a ton to digest very quickly in a really short space of time. And you guys are going to have to take that into your own hands, compile some of this information as you watch it there. But there, so Master's Fortitude, for example. So here's some of the stances. The next stance I look at, Primordial Stance, is really interesting. It pulses conditions based on both attunements at once. So you can get, if you're pure fire, you'll get double burn. If you're fire water, you'll get burn and chill. If you're double air, you'll get 16 vulnerability of pulse. And there's stances that last a while with 2 ammunition. So like just casting 1 Primordial Stance in double fire or something would just be sick Condi damage, basically. And there you can see the animation for it. It's obscene. It's crazy. So there are some things. So like you'll notice, even though I'm fire water right now, I am only water according to my active effects. And what I think that means is you won't be able to bounce stuff like be immune to crits. You can't be like always half in earth to be immune to crits all the time. Or always half in water to permanently have soothing mist out and stuff. I don't think they've done it that way because I think that's crazy too unwieldy, and then the core specializations would have to be an earth to account for the Weaver, and that just sort of doesn't make sense. If you look at my health bar when I use a dual skill, you can see a little yellow number there. That's barrier. You'll see barrier go a lot higher on the Scourge demonstration. So yeah, there's Pile Driver. Look at that animation. Oh, that's a meaty hit. So the Elite is a stance that then you have to rotate through all attunements. And each new attunement you go into gives you like crazy buffs, like 20% condition damage in fire and 20% boon duration and benevolence in water and stuff. And then once you've gone through all achievements, you get this crazy like extra buff called Perfect Weave, which is everything at once. And it becomes a flip over skill that basically casts Gravity Well, the Chronomancer Elite, at the end. It's like, well, it's not really that, but it gives you a big float and a bit of damage. As like this big finale. So here you can see I've got my trait page open, but you'll see I'm rotating through and it will become a flip over. I won't cast it. I will fail to hit the cast. Please don't be mad at me. But yeah, you can see the tooltips. It's fine. Unblockable 2.5 seconds float. It's crazy. It's ludicrous. It's actually mental. And Weaver's not the only one. They're all like this. They really are. It's very important this doesn't power creep too much on Tempest or the other ones. It's very important, and I'm well aware of that. But I wonder how the devs are thinking about this. So I thought, what's the most broken thing you can possibly do with this? And immediately I was like, well, fresh air, obviously, because fresh air will bypass all of the ICDs. Did the devs nerf that? No, they didn't. So fresh air, Ellie, is nuts. Because don't forget your 15-point trait, or your major minor, or whatever it is, that strikes them with lightning every time you go into air attunement. And you can now double go into air attunement for every time you swap out. And the fresh air doesn't care. Look at how quickly it's refreshing my air attunement. Look at how ridiculous this is. Look how many lightning strikes we get. It's insane. One of my favorite things ever to do in PvP has been fresh air, Ellie. And so you're going to see a big difference, by the way. One of the big lessons they learned from the Heart of Thorns Elite Specializations is not to go too tanky. Because, you know, that ruined, like, Season 1. That did not happen here. There is so much damage on these Elite Specializations. From what I have seen, there is so much damage. They've just kind of gone a bit nuts with it, to be honest with you. I'm well up for playing a little bit of this. So, yeah, these are the Scepter mix skills. Yeah? And we've seen the staff ones. I don't think I've shown you the dagger ones. On top of all of the sword ones, just from weapon skills alone, it's like an obscene number of new abilities that they've added. You'd think they'd be conservative with Elementalist and only ever give her offhands, right? No. They really picked an idea here and they just went full on with it. This is what happens when they don't have to design a core class with the expansion, right? Heart of Thorns, they had a limited window and they had the Revenant to do on top. These guys, this next batch of Elite Specializations, they've had 2 years to make and they have been freed up to not have to make a core class. And the luxury of that is you're seeing crazy stuff like what we've got here with the Weaver. So, there you go. That's my Weaver presentation. Hope you guys enjoy. Oh, no. Hold on. We might have crashed out a little bit there. Hopefully we didn't crash out fully. Hold on, guys. We're going to crash again. Sorry, it's my monitor capture. We're going to crash again, and we will go on to the next spec. Pick a spec, guys. In chat, somebody with the code 99, pick an Elite Specialization. If I have stuff on it, you will be able to choose what order we do this stuff in. So go ahead while we're sort of crashing here. Go in chat. All right, there we go. Way too OP, do people say? Yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised you would say that. Absolutely not. So what have we got? I can't remember what code it was. What have I got? Someone says 99 Necro. Schizophrenia says 99 Necro. I'm sorry. I missed whoever actually got it first. But life's not fair, so screw it. All right, so Necro. So the Necro Elite Specialization is the Scourge. I only gave myself 15 minutes to do this. I've got to get Bog on later. Hold on, let's see what we got here. All right, we'll keep going. Whatever. As long as he's still streaming and he's happy, we will keep going. All right, so the Scourge. Who's ready to see a bit of Scourge stuff? So I got a bit less on all the others, right? Scourge was really, Weaver was kind of the big one for me. But I have tried to do my best on the others. So here we go. This is Scourge. Scourge has no Death Shroud. The cardinal rule, it seemed, of Elite Specializations for the Necromancer world was instantly broken. There is no Shroud. And that's crazy, because if you think about the way that Necro works, it's got tons of traits that explicitly say this does this to Shroud. Transfusion makes Shroud res people and pull bodies in and heals people. So without any Shroud, it's like, how does that work? Well, basically, you have... It's like you've got no Shroud. You don't have the defensive perks of having a second health bar anymore. But you do still have 5 skills. And they're always available to you now. So that's a bit of an advantage. So you can see you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and Q. That's what I use my F5 on. Those are your new abilities. You still build Profession Mechanic. You still build Life Force. But instead, you don't spend it on a second health bar. You still spend it on those skills up there, though. So you'll notice here I'm on Dagger Warhorn. That's because it was just to build a lot of Shroud up. And this, guys, is... it's a support spec. And it's also a major condition damage spec. All right? So hopefully there'll be a bit of something for everyone. I talked to the guy who designed this quite a lot, Irenio, I think it was, and have quite a lot of cool insights. This is all built around Barrier. And Barrier is a really interesting thing for them to add to the game. So when we show off some Barrier stuff, we'll see it. So let's hit play. Let's go ahead. So I'm just going to go over to the golems. The skills are sacrifice skills, I think they're called. Maybe they're not called sacrifice skills. They're called like, it is hurting yourself basically, which has also been a really interesting aspect of Necromancer I thought they should go into for a while. It's been a fan favorite. This is actually, if you remember when I was speculating about Reaper 2 years ago, some of those ideas were in there. So yeah, we get Life Force. You get it from nearby deaths, as you can see there. Just like fine. You might be wondering, between my skill 1 and my skill 2, there are 3 diamonds. What are the 3 diamonds? Punishment skills, thank you. Yeah, they're called punishments. Those 3 diamonds represent how many shades we can spawn. All right, so you kind of get like little mini Ventari tablets. They're called Manifest Sand Shades. So this isn't really a minion spec, all right? If people are looking for a really good minion-y kind of necro, I think that will maybe be next expansion or something. But so you get these sand shades. I like to think of them as little Ventari tablets. Manifest a sand shade using some of your life force. When you use a shade ability, you and your shades strike nearby enemies, and they put out flat damage, they put out torment and cripple, 5 targets. All right, I've got to stop myself going into the tooltip stuff too much. But so here we can cast 3 of them. There is a Grand Master that stops you being able to cast 3 of them and instead allows you to cast 1 super powered one. So do you remember what I said about trade-offs? That's kind of what they're doing with the design on these elite specializations, right? Like from a conquest perspective, perhaps you could run without the Grand Master and try and put a shade on each node. Or you can just have the 1 super-powered one to be, you know, a better team fight supporter in mid or whatever. So then you've got abilities on the sides, right? So if you're standing in range of a shade, convert condies into boons, right? And it's 2 condies. There's a lot of boon hate in this, by the way. Especially when we get to Spellbreaker, baby! Here we go. So the skill 3, sand rises up near you and your shades, which shields them. So this is the crazy barrier. The Scourge does not actually heal. It can buff through might and like be supportive, offensively supportive, but it doesn't actually heal. It puts barrier on people. And so this is kind of like a counter spike measure, right? You can have your druid healing you up and buffing your damage like mad with Grace of the Land and stuff, but if they start using a lot of global nukes and very frequent ones that bypass blocks, so Aegis doesn't work, but you know, they're nukes that will go through Distort, they will go through Aegis, they will go through Evades. If the devs start doing that, they have the space for players to be like, okay, I need a Scourge support, because we need to increase our vitality like mad to just get through these massive global nukes, right? And so that's a lot of barrier there, 3,000 barrier. And if you watch very carefully my health bar when that happens, there you go. And the Q is also a lot of barrier. You can see that's how it looks, yeah? So it constantly degenerates. So you kind of spike the barrier on someone before some kind of nuke comes in, and you try and maintain it. But it's not like everyone will always have much higher vitality now. It's not like everyone's crazy tankier, because it is a it's not a reactive thing. It's you got to do it early, right? Just like Aegis, for example. You see the tails coming, the wind-ups coming. I think this could be really interesting for fractal design, really interesting for raid design, and could mix up how we treat PvP scenarios as well. I can imagine in World vs. World popping a lot of barrier on people as you go for the melee chain push or whatever. So yeah, and the heal skill as well is a big heal, but also gives you tons of barrier. So there I am with... So I just want to point out a really interesting synergy here. You can have a Scourge Reaper combo where the Reaper has his health bar, and then he has a second health bar, and then he has a barrier health bar from the Scourge. Yeah? So, like, that's wild to think about. Comboing an old spec with a new spec in a 2-man combo of some kind. So, very exciting. Very interesting. So, here's a punishment. As you can see, it gives barrier. If you stop on the elite's crazy. Ghastly breach into the realm of torment. Perhaps suggestive of some of the story in this expansion. Granting might to allies and slowing enemies. Convert a boon on enemies into torment and cripple each pulse. So lots of boon hate. I want to see lots more boons on enemies in this expansion, so that we can really shine with this stuff. It's also going to be quite interesting seeing... This probably won't replace the PS, but it's like a supplementary might kind of character. And it's interesting to see how that goes. So the Grandmasters are crazy. Like, absolutely nutty. Alright? I'll just let you guys look at it, because we don't have all the time in the world. But, like, one of them is, like, if you ever remove a boon from someone, gain it. And, like, so you could remove 1 might from someone and gain 3. Or 1 stack of stab from them and you'd gain 2 stacks of stab. On no internal cooldown. Just ridiculous stuff. The elite specs are they're really clearly themed each line as well now. Just like we saw the Reaper and Chrono did very well in the first generation. They're all like that I've seen now. So the top line is always very clearly like for one purpose. The Weaver one, for example, top line was very much damage oriented stuff. Here's your torch. I don't even show you the torch stuff, unfortunately, guys. I had a very limited period of time to both present and to gather stuff, and there's just so much. It's an impossible task. I could have just sat there just mousing over stuff forever. But there were cool conversations to have about design and things. So what do you want from me, all right? Do we get new raids, WP? Yeah, I mean, they've never said that raids would stop. I can't imagine why they would. So yeah, there, by the way, oh, this is really interesting. Demonic Law. Torment you inflict deals damage and causes burn to your foe. So your Torment is stronger. This is like the new Bitter Chill. It's Torment into Burning, which is ridiculous. And you might be wondering, okay, WP, they're doing a Condi thing, but Reaper's already Condi. And you're seeing a problem there, aren't you? Either this is better than Reaper and no one ever uses Reaper again, which feels bad, man. Or the Reaper is still better at Condi than this, in which case no one uses the Scourge, which feels even badder, man. So what do? Well, the answer is clear. Reaper should not be in that Condi space at all. Reaper should be in the power space. And that is what they have done. I will put on Reaper on this footage here. Bitter Chill has been nerfed from Reaper, but there have been substantive changes elsewhere in the traits. I haven't had a good look at them, but supposedly there have been. There's signet changes, the spike line has changed, and hopefully Reaper will finally, weirdly, only when X-Pac 2 comes out, but it will hopefully finally be in that power space. So yeah, and then here's the bottom line, which is sort of all supporty. Okay? And I'm glad we all understand. Look at that. Look at that feed from Corruption. Absolutely wild. Totally ridiculous. Insane. What are they doing? But it's going to be amazing. Oh, the build craft. It's going to be lots of fun, guys. All right. So, pick another elite spec that is not Soul Beast, that is not Firebrand, that is not Renegade, and is not that other one. What do you guys want? The code 88. 88. Anybody who gives me it with 88, not 99. The new code. New code. What are you guys doing? Waiting for 88. Look at the chat. Come on, guys. Wow. Okay, Spellbreaker. The first person to get it did say Spellbreaker. They actually said 888, but I will accept it. Spellbreaker it is. Spellbreaker is badass. Spellbreaker, some of you are going to come away from this and you're going to think, ArenaNet suck. Guild Wars 2 sucks. I hate everything. This is the worst thing in the world. Some of you are going to think that. The rest of you are going to think this is the coolest thing in the world. So you ready? Probably one of the more controversial from that perspective, Elite Specializations, but I'm very excited to show it to you all, and I'll explain why I have these thoughts very soon. I'm a little bit worried here about my Deadeye footage. I think it should be okay, though. All right, guys. So let's hit up the Spellbreaker. So, yes, you're getting a little bit more of an insight here into some of the UI and stuff that I was looking at. Here we've got runes of the Spellbreaker. Of course, they do all have runes. Deadeye has cantrips, by the way, so it's like might on cantrips. So that affects Tempest and Ellie and all kinds of things. This is power and precision. Another thing I wanted from the expansion, unfortunately hasn't become a thing, is the idea of splitting stats away from runes. I think that would do a lot for build diversity. But this is the Spellbreaker's stuff. I don't think I'm going to spoil all the Elite Specialization collection stuff for you on this footage. Let's see what we got. Yeah, I cut it out. Sorry, guys. This guy's badass. So, the Spellbreaker... You know how Elite Specializations get a new weapon? And we've got Dagger here? The Spellbreaker is kind of special. And I think Warrior deserves this, since Warrior is such a weapon master. Warrior base genuinely gets 2 new weapons, really. And in some perspectives, it's a bit arbitrary to say such a thing. But they do get 2 new weapons. They get Dagger main hand and Dagger offhand. They can equip it in either. That's 5 new skills. And if that's not too exciting to you guys, if you still think, well, so what? Don't forget, this is Warrior, right? So the combos you've got available to you are actually huge. You can go Dagger Mace, Mace Dagger, Sword Dagger, Dagger Swords, Dagger Shields, Dagger... You can't go Dagger Torch. That's like the one thing you can't do. There's a huge number of combos you can do. And depending on the style of Spellbreaker you want to play, you can mess about with that a lot. And I think that's quite cool. Some of the core issues with Warrior I don't know have been addressed, like fast hands and reliance on it and so on. But this is a baby, right? This is a Guild Wars 1 Denial Mesmer with Warrior. That is what it is. Those two, they went off, they met at a party, they had an unfortunate accident because they were both a bit drunk, and this came out, and it is God's gift to Earth, to Tyria. All right, this thing is amazing. I love it so much. So Wastrel's Ruin, strike your target, deals 100% more damage if they're not using any skills. It's all denial. It's all ridiculous boon rip. It's mental. And yes, so you can see ammunition on some of the new abilities as well. It's like pulsing reveal on people. Oh, it's incredible. And I'll show you some of the animations. Some of the animations and the flavor things are really nice. Like the skill 5 is Blade Storm, I think. Look at that. It's so cool. But the reason I say that some of you guys might not like this is, let's be candid about this. This is not a raid build. This is very unlikely to even be a Fractals build. This is very unlikely to take much of a place in organized late game PvE. That's my opinion. That is not an opinion of a dev or some kind of insider information or whatever. That is my opinion. I think that Warriors for endgame PvE will likely still be might bots for a long time. And I think that that's going to be a bit disappointing to people. But for the rest of us who do a bit of PvP, who do a bit of world versus world, who did enjoy some of those elements from Guild Wars 1 Denial Mesmer, the pure stuff, not the butterflies and the pink stuff, but really what it did mechanically, I think this is a right feast. So you notice we only get 2 bars of adrenaline now instead of 3. We have an F2. It's called Full Counter. It's a parry that is incredibly punishing. So it's kind of like you've got these fencing aspects on it, as well as like heavy denial. I really want to talk to you guys about the elite and how that works. So a lot of this is going to be based on the tuning, obviously, with how it goes. But you see here we get stability as we cast it. Here I'm actually going to full counter this Guardian NPC. There you go. We take 0 damage, and we push slow out on him. So the elite, I don't know whether I show it to you guys, but the elite is really cool. What the elite does is, you as a Spellbreaker, you kind of hate boons, you kind of hate magic, you even rip them off of yourself, right? So the elite is, well, here, first we'll look at the heal. This is a good demonstration. This is an incredibly powerful baseline heal. 11,000 health on a 25-second cooldown. The cooldown's quite punishing. It could be traded to be lower. But 11,000 health. But the thing is here, if you check it out, it removes all boons from us. All condis and all boons. It's all about purity. So you stack a lot of might on yourself on this character, but there's also like even ripping a little bit of your own. You don't obviously have to run natural healing. The Guild Wars 1 references are off the charts, basically. But, you know, that's a kind of an example of what this is all about. It's all about just purity and just having clean, active effects. So you know how World versus World is at the moment with crazy, and PvP, Christ, let's be honest. Crazy boon spam, crazy condi spam. The Spellbreaker stands against that. The Spellbreaker says, all right, enough is enough, bitches. Check out my elite. So the elite, okay, hopefully I'll mouse over it at some point. The elite creates an area where just if anyone goes in it, they lose all boons and all condis. They just all go away. You got this big taunt ability here. You should have seen the reveal ability. Break enchantments, strike foes around you and remove all their boons. Oh, sorry, not all their boons, 2 boons. But do more damage that lose a boon. It's just all about hate. It's just hate and denial and aggression. So here we've got some of the traits. Enchantment collapse, remove a boon. And all foes will lose additional boons nearby. No ICD, unblockable. We got some resistance there. Mage Bane Tether, so I show this off. Hitting a foe with your burst skill cast, Mage Bane Tether on your target. And this is essentially Scorpion Wire from the Assassin in the first game. The Tether is like, or Dragon Hunter is a better comparison. Dragon Hunter F1. You basically get Dragon Hunter F1 that procs if they try to move away from you. So the Tether you can sort of handle, but if you try to get away from the fight, then they can pull you back in. Full counter deals additional damage, grants resistance. So yeah, I mean, it's really not a PvE-minded thing. It's not. And I think it's going to be really interesting watching the community on this one. But I'm very excited about this. I really am. So yeah, look at that. 8 seconds of revealed. Look at that. Look at that. And believe me, you're going to want this hate. You're going to want this counterplay when you see Deadeye. You're going to want this. All right, and I'll show you what this animation is like. So it's quite an interesting trait. You'll notice I didn't look at minors and stuff. There's so much to do. There's so much to learn. There's so much to compile. You know, when I was doing this, there you go. That's how it looks. When I was doing this section, it made the PvE stuff feel like a million miles away. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think so much of the value of expansions come from this. The balance team has got such a crazy job. Really. Unfortunately, you'll notice we got blinded in the middle of our counter there, which was very depressing to see. And so we get some more fluffy little animations for you guys here as we roll out. So there you go. That's Spellbreaker. That's a taster. What I would describe these as are they're tasters of the elite specs, right? And that's what we're looking at.
Go ahead. Hit.
And of course, you know, this is before I even had an opportunity to look at changing amulets out and changing all the other stuff that would come associated with these things. So there you go. That is Spellbreaker for you guys. We'll do a vote. So the next two, the last two, you've got Mirage or Deadeye. What do you guys want? Pick one, Mirage or Deadeye. Code 12. So type 12 and then Mirage or Deadeye. And those are the last two for us to look at. And we don't have so much footage of those, but they're pretty interesting. Mirage is quite a thing to explain. Look at people trying the old code. The old code is the one thing I would never pick. Deadeye. Someone came in with Deadeye. So Deadeye is the next one. Deadeye, I think, will be a bit love-hate as well, but in a reverse perspective this time. I think PvEers are going to love it, especially for just random open world stuff, and I'm sure there'll be a way to make this kind of raid viable and stuff. But for for world versus world specifically, if you thought that getting kill-shotted or gun-flamed from range, or if you thought pew-pew-pew rangers were annoying, or if you thought stealthing, backstabbing thieves were annoying, welcome to Path of Fire, because the Deadeye's in it now, baby. And it's crazy. We won't look at his concept art. So, basically, I'll just go over, I'll hash over the main mechanics here quite quickly for you guys. You use the skill 5 to go prone. It makes you stealthed. It costs a little bit of initiative to do. While you are prone, while you're crouching like this, you cannot use WS&D. You are locked in place. All right? You're locked in place. You can still dodge into different directions, but don't forget, you're not Daredevil anymore, so you've only got your 2 dodges. All right? And you can tell why they put Withdraw onto the default heal skill for this build, right? Because of stuff like that. So, but while you are prone, what will happen is you will gain extra range on your rifle abilities. I'm not sure whether it's all abilities, but definitely rifle. And if you notice very carefully out here, can you see that line? That line is not actually a part of the geometry. That line is user interface. That line is a giant circle around us. That line represents the Deadeye's range. And it's huge. And so you can see at any moment as a Deadeye from your little nest or whatever, exactly what... yeah, no, we paused, guys. We paused, because I don't have much footage. Don't worry, it's not frozen. We're good. Jesus, chat. Keep it up, man. We've been doing this for well over an hour already. 2 hours. Okay, so that's your range. And you'll see that line off in the distance. So these abilities are just wild. If you really want to understand this class... seriously pause the stream and take little screenshots. You got an ability that corrupts boons, will strip stab, will strip protection, Aegis off of people. You've got an ability that gives you might, and then you've got a huge nuke ability. The nuke ability is the skill 4. So the way that this works is your F1 is no longer steal. It's called mark, right? So, and you saw on the ArenaNet reveal, they talked a little bit about making a contract with your target or whatever. So the target knows that they're marked, so there is some counterplay instantly. You will know when a Deadeye is looking at you. But every second that you're marked, the Deadeye will build something called Malice. So can you see above the health bar, there's those little dots? It's a bit like building Celestial Avatar, right? Every second that the target is marked, and I think it's while you're continuing to hit them or something, you're building Malice, and the stacks build and build and build and build. There's a trait that means you do higher % damage the more Malice you've got, and it goes up to 7 stacks, I think it is. And also the skill 4 nuke gains just 15% more damage flat for every Malice stack. So it already has a base hit of 1,500, and the damage modifier you build on this is absurd. By the way, going prone doubles your projectile speed as well. Doubles its speed. And it's got ammunition, so you can only go prone a couple of times. So that's where the ammunition mechanic really shines, right? It's a good counterbalance for going prone. But yeah, that 4 is just ludicrous. Like, truly ludicrous. You've got a lot of things on the kit to set up the kill. What's even crazier about the skill 4 is when you nuke someone, if you land the hit, it flips over into an ability that shadow steps you backwards, and hopefully, therefore, a little bit more safety. And yes, you can do this from stealth. So, I mean, it really is crazy. And I really do apologize that the footage is terrible of this. So here I am spamming go prone to see what it's like to build stealth with it, but then you see the ammo mechanic, right? So that's why you can't just spam it and spam it and spam it. And then I use the auto. I didn't even really realize the burst at the time. I'm using the auto. I go prone and start auto attacking the ghost. But you can see my range there. The range indicator is slightly on there. So this is the Deadeye. I wasn't very good at the utilities on this one either, guys. But we will look at the traits in just a moment. So yeah, it's crazy. This is a lot like the Weaver. You'd think that they would be conservative about it, right? But they weren't. They were just like, look, if you're going to give the thief a rifle, people want to be a sniper. Let's make them snipers. Right, and they just went crazy with it. They just went crazy. So the F1, by the way, you can still be traded in all the way that still can. It just won't move you in anymore. And you still get F2s. It's just they're not the regular stolen abilities. They're different stolen abilities. So you still, if you trait Thrill of the Crime, when you, yeah, and I'm reflecting because they have the reflect swirling winds and that crap. Ignore it, guys. It's fine. But, so you notice I use Mark there and I got a new F2. So you get sort of stolen abilities, but they're different contextual abilities. The F2 only pops on that target. So it's a bit like when you're a Mesmer and you cast a Phantasm. It only works on that target, right? But look, I've got Thrill of the Crime on there. I've got Sleight of Hand on there. I daze people. I rip boons from people, all from range. So in some ways, the F1's more powerful than Steel because it doesn't move you into these dangerous scenarios, right? And obviously giving yourself Fury right before a big nuke is an advantageous thing to do. So you've got all these synergies with Core, Thief, in with that. There you can see I've built a ton of Malice stacks up. And yeah, it's wild. The classification of skills are cantrips. Their runes do give, and you'll have a look at this here in a second. We're just unlocking Daredevil as well. How cool is the game getting now, right? We've actually got 2 elite specializations, so Buildcraft is really starting to get quite interesting. It's going to be cool. It's going to be really cool. But yeah, they get cantrips, and you get might on cantrips, so you can pop a bunch of those. Crazy, crazy, crazy stuff. Rip boons, it was a nice time. Well, there is more boon application here, and all of the crazy boon spewing things from Heart of Thorns are still there. But yeah, so there you go. That's my Daredevil footage, guys. I do apologize that I couldn't get more. I was on a limited time. I really wish I could have got a lot more for you. And then that leaves Twitch. What's with the hate for the Mesmer, man? What's going on? This is Guild Wars core stuff. The Mirage is crazy and really difficult to describe. I'm running late. I hope Bogotter understands that I'm running late. I really hope he understands that I'm running late. Okay. So this is crazy. By the way, Mastermind, I'm going to ask you a question about some of this stuff. I'm going to ask you a question. All right. So yeah, let's have a look now at the Mirage. So one of the often things that people have liked the idea with for Mesmer is what if it was all about clone deception? What if it was about pretending you're a clone? What they mentioned camouflage and blending in. They're not just talking about stealth, right? They're talking about being really hard to identify, and there's a lot of crazy different things going on here. Let me just open up by explaining to you guys that the Mirage cannot dodge. Doesn't dodge. Not in a traditional sense. Doesn't dodge. That animation, that dodge roll animation is no longer there. And the reason for that, I think, is because what's one of the easiest ways to identify who is the clone and who is real, the one that's dodging, right? So you no longer dodge, you get instead essentially like blur. You still get evade frames and it still functions like a dodge, but you don't have to move. You can just trigger it on the spot without moving and pretend you're a clone the whole time. And if you do move with it, there's no dodge roll animation. You just like walk like an NPC. So it's really weird playing the Mirage, really weird. And I actually think it will throw a lot of people off because people like the dodge roll animations. It feels really crazy. So, when you are in that phase of, ooh, who's the clone? Which one's the real clone? When you're, like, faded in. I think it's called a manipulation or a deception or something, I think it's called. While you're in that mode, you get stealth skills, basically, burst skills. You know how a thief gets backstab on its auto attack when it's in stealth? The Mirage gets that whenever it's in that mode. So, your auto attacks all have, like, an extra ability, like backstab now, while you are hidden. All right, so with all of that done, let's go further forward. And it gets even weirder. This thing is tuned crazy. So it's Condi, by the way. Crazy Condi damage. This is a big Condi spec. It's interesting that the 3 ones I looked at, or 3 of the ones that I looked at were Condi specs. And the axe is really interesting as well. They're playing with another mechanic. You got your torch that I just equipped there. I don't even know what amulet and stuff I'm on right now, to be honest with you. So here we've got traits, Mirage stuff. It's called Mirage Cloak. That's what you get when you dodge now. Gain Mirage Cloak instead of dodge rolling, and you get ambush skills become available, and deception skills are your new utilities. But keen Mesmers may already realize something. Hold on, our clones are constantly casting auto attacks, aren't they? So what if you give a clone the hide ability, the blur, the Mirage Cloak? What if you give a clone a Mirage Cloak? What happens there? well, it gets the ambush as well. And so the result of this is a really weird, tricky, like gimmicky odd thing where essentially phantasms aren't the damage dealers anymore, or it feels like, but instead clones. Clones are crazy. Now, they're still very squishy and stuff, but it's kind of like, imagine you've got 3 illusionary duelists out and they use unload, right? Imagine if you could do that with clones and you can trigger the casting of it whenever you dodge. Because when you dodge, you go into Mirage Cloak, and there's a trait that gives the Mirage Cloak to the clones, and then the clones have the new ability, and they're slightly weaker, yes, but it's still crazy. And to put all of this together, all right, so Ether Barrage, look at this, look at the flip over there, look at Ether Barrage, right? To do all of this, I'm going to show you what it looks like to use mirror images, summon 3 clones, and all I'm going to do is dodge now, and watch the golem. All I'm going to do is cut, and you're not going to see that I'm dodging, because I'm not going to move, just watch my endurance, and you'll see it drains. I'm not doing anything, this is just purely dodging. And you can see kind of the crazy damage you do. You see how every time I press space, I get them to go mental and do all those abilities? You see that? Yeah, you see that? You see that? It's kind of interesting, isn't it? And that's not even me attacking. And using my auto chain and my flip over, which is more potent than the clone ones. So Staff is also very powerful for this because Staff has bouncing projectiles, and their supercharged Staff auto with the bouncing projectiles is crazy. So that's a little demonstration there from just standing there and how Mirage Cloak works. What I'll do is I'll cut and I'll show you how it looks on Staff in a second as well. We'll get to the axe on this as well, guys, I promise. So it's just crazy. It really, really, really is. When I talk about things being overtuned, this one felt ridiculously overtuned. Just for the cost of mirror images, that was all it was, and autoing. And, you know, ultimately, these dodges, these evade frames you're going to be getting anyway. So yeah, this was when I was first looking at it. I was like, why is that happening? And I had to really dig into the traits to figure out. It's just kind of obscure. So here we've got it with Staff. I'm just going to use Phase Retreat plus Mirror Image. I'm just going to dodge a couple of times. And because I'm standing close enough to trigger the bounces, you can just see just crazy Condi just getting spiked up onto the golem. I mean, look at that. 16 Torment, 30 Bleed, 8 Confusion. I'm not doing anything, guys. I'm not doing anything. I'm pressing space. All right, it's crazy. And it's like 5 targets as well. It's 5 bounces, the new flip over. So here it is in an AoE capacity. You can see it over here. And you get what they're going for. And I'll show you beyond just the crazy tuning. We'll look a little bit more at the axe as well in a second and how that sort of feels. But here, so when I press space, you'll notice the things start bouncing right to the back of the group, and you just kind of get ridiculous damage. Yeah, it's not only Condi. There is other stuff. This is just how it was built by default when I was looking at it. So here we've got Axe. Axe is crazy as well. You can summon clones and things. The 3 is the really interesting thing. Axes of Symmetry. So you know how on a Mesmer, when you summon phantasms and clones on a target, they are bound to that target. They will never stop attacking that target, and they will die when that target dies. Axe bypasses that. You can summon 3 clones on one target, like you saw there with a golem, and you cast Axe 3 on a different golem, and they will all blink to the new target and jump at it in a ring. Also, that skill forces detargeting, like Stealth and Taunt does. So if that's a PvP context, you'll just have a ring of Axe guys surround you, hit you with absurd Condi, and you won't know which one the real player is. So, you know, if you're a great sword warrior with your burst up, you can just pop that and clean them all out. But if you're more single target, then you're going to really struggle. You will not know which one the real player is because you just blink in a random circle around them, and you are indistinguishable from the clone. Well, that's the idea in the heat of the moment. So here, by the way, check it out, Sand Shards, the Dervish skill. I really wanted that in this expansion, and check it out, it is there. June Cloak, use Sand Shards when you gain Mirage Cloak. Conditions applied to bleeding foes have increased duration. So, I mean, this is crazy. As opposed to the Spellbreaker, I think you're looking at some serious damage on this one that they'll be going for. And all those Chronos that have had to spend 2 years buffing their friends, I think can finally move into a different slot in their compositions. Yeah, I don't know how they'll do stuff like active effects and how that all works in terms of, you know, obscuring who the real Mirage is again. But that's the idea. The Elite has ammunition again. You'll notice the ammunition mechanic is just everywhere. And it's a bit like what I invented for the Mesmer once. It's a bit like Swap. It just blinks you around, I think, and swaps you. I don't know whether it exactly swaps you with clones, but it's that kind of idea. It just moves you around very fast, and people, if someone's identified who you are, you can pop the new Elite, and you'll just sort of shift to another position. You can do it 3 times. So there you go. And that's the Mirage. That's the way that works. And yeah, so the Elite Specialization section, guys, I was going to spend a lot less time on, and I went much longer on it in the end. Oh, well, hold on. So I'm going to go back up now, and we're going to get a grip of where we are exactly. And we will go to our next section with Bog, who hopefully hasn't been too mad. Oh my god, we went way over! We went way over! Holy crap! How have we gone that far over? I blame chat. I blame chat for that. Let's see if Bog's around. Let's see if Bog's around. Bog! Oh, he's gonna hate me. He's gonna hate me. Let's see. Can people go over to his chat and tell him that I'm ready for him? I'm ready for you now. Oh, no. Oh, it's all in the show. Look, that's what Elite Specializations are like, though, you know? You could talk about it, and I barely showed anything off. There's entire specs I haven't shown. Oh my god, he's ready. What a legend. He's ready already. All right. Let's do it. Okay, sorry, Bog, 1 second. I can't hear you at the moment. Are you there? Hello, Bog. How's it going, dude? Man, I'm so sorry I'm late. Hold on. People can't hear you just yet. Hold on.
No worries.
There we go. There we go. All right. So, yeah, I'm so sorry we're late. We ended up talking about Elite Specializations for ages. It's so ridiculous.
No problem. No problem. There's a lot of information to unpack, right? It's crazy.
There is. There absolutely is. Yeah. Well, which of the Elite Specs did you end up looking at, by the way? Did you look at Guardian? You looked at Rev, didn't you?
No, I looked at the Spellbreaker, the Weaver, the Deadeye, and the Hollowsmith were the ones.
Hollowsmith. Do you want to tell my audience a little bit about Hollowsmith?
I could tell you a tiny bit. I know it's like a high-powered glass cannon spec. They have a overheat mechanic, and it's kind of like a high-risk, high-reward type thing, where a lot of your abilities will increase your heat, and you do more damage as your heat increases, but you have the danger of kind of overheating. And if you overheat, you basically explode.
Oh,
and
okay.
the devs seemed really excited about this one. They were one of the devs said that they came up with a spec that actually purposefully explodes, and they use a certain heal to kind of mitigate it. And I don't know, they were super excited about it. But I'm not an NG player at all, so I didn't really know exactly everything that was going on, but it looks super cool.
Fair enough, fair enough. I'll tell you, for everyone else as well, by the way, I never showed off Renegade. I was hoping Bog had played it a bit. Renegade was the show, it was the winner, really. A lot of people really liked Renegade and what it stood for, and I really regretted not being able to play it in the end. But never mind that. Let's move away from the world of Elite Specializations for a little bit. So mounts are coming into Guild Wars 2. That's a thing. What do you think about that?
I think mounts are pretty awesome. You know, I've played a lot of different MMOs over the years, and it's always awesome to see ArenaNet's take on things, and they always do things a little bit differently. And I think it's super exciting how they're actually implementing mounts.
Well, let's have a look, shall we? You've got some footage for everyone, and we'll see how it goes. So when you're ready, we'll click play in 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay.
All right. So what are we looking at here? What we got?
So all the footage that I have is of Raptor mounts. That was the one that we were able to play, and but we do have information about the other 4. I just took some shots kind of going around the world and showing you how the movement is, and you know, we're going to describe some of that stuff. But first of all, you might be asking yourself, so it's already easy to travel in Guild Wars 2. So why, you know, with waypoints and stuff like that, why are we doing mounts? Why do we need mounts? And you know, we asked that question a lot, and we got a bunch of different answers. And I think the answers are pretty awesome. First of all, the zones are huge. These are the biggest zones that they've done. I think that the statistic they were throwing at us was the 5 new maps in Path of Fire have more land area than all of the maps in Heart of Thorns, plus the Season 3.
Yeah, you're right. I forgot about that
6
quote.
zones.
Yeah, that's crazy. That is like, if we really take, so that was Mo that said that, guys. If we really take that at face value, right? That means everything we have seen go into the game over the past 2 years is about to be matched on the 22nd. It's just gonna double. I mean, that is crazy. Right. That is crazy.
Yeah, and it's important for us to like not get locked or distracted by the number 5, right? You're like, oh, only 5 new zones. Well, they could certainly have split up that area into 10 or 15 zones.
Yeah, they could have.
Then all we're getting is more loading screens so that they can make a better headline going. So I'm totally happy that we have these huge zones. So the mounts are going to help us get around places faster, which is appreciated. But in addition to that, as you can see in some of the footage, we're actually jumping over gaps with the Raptor. So each of the different mounts has some sort of movement ability which helps you navigate the terrain in the Crystal Desert and in Alona.
Yeah, so like they proper tied the mount concept to the mastery concept, right? Like they are one and the same, really.
Yeah, and we're gonna go over all of the masteries that the Raptors has in a minute. In fact,
you did get that, did you? You did get.
I did.
Yeah, nice. Okay, cool.
Yeah, we're gonna go through all that. We'll go through all that. So, in addition to having like a movement skill, there's also a combat initiator skill, they call it, which it's not mounted combat per se, but you can start combat while on a mount. It actually does some damage, and then you're off the mount and into combat like seamlessly, which I think is really good.
So I had a conversation with some devs about this, and the idea that like they don't want all the gameplay to just be the mount abilities, right? Like people want to be excited about getting their new elite specialization and using those new skills and even their core skills. You don't want the entire combat system to be replaced with just mounted combat, right? So that's the way they've designed the skills, yeah.
So it's great. So you get a little flavor of it, and each of the mounts reacts differently. It has different skills, but yeah, you still want to get off and use all of your character's abilities. And what we're seeing now is kind of how you acquire your first mount, and I love this about it. It's integrated into the story. So it's not just like you get you go up to a stable master and then it just has a whole bunch of mounts for you to buy. You know, you actually have a relationship with this mount. It's part of the story. After you save some people from this fire and you're jumping over these gaps trying to save them, the raptor kind of takes to you, and then you actually journey together and you can summon him at any time. And then you start to unlock masteries for this mount. And I'm told that you get another mount in the next zone and so on and so forth until you have all mounts unlocked on your account. So I love that. I love that.
So it's per zone. That's kind of cool. I didn't realize that was the way they were doing it. So the first map is kind of very raptor centric, and then the next one.
The second one is, I believe it's the Springer.
Oh, this detail, really? So the second map's the Springer map. That's cool.
Yes. So, the other little tidbit that I got was the fact that Alona has been cut off from Central Tyria for so long, and Central Tyria has kind of adapted, and they're very magical in their approach to solutions, and they're technologically advanced, a lot of Asuran influence and that kind of stuff, whereas the folks of Alona have had to rely more on the land and the denizens and the creatures that live there. So that's why when we're going to Alona, you see that the people of this land are more attuned with the animals and
that's interesting.
have them out. So again, I love that it's all story driven.
I hadn't picked up on any of that while I was playing it.
Yeah, and this guy, I'm not sure where in the video you are exactly, but there's a guy here that kind of starts to tell you in game about how to use your mount in combat. With the number one skill is a tailspin, and like we were talking before, it dismounts you while you use that, and then you can get right into combat.
Yeah, I remember that shooter guy. Yeah.
He's like, make sure you get a quick hit in on them before you know.
I was so bad with that skill though. People have seen my footage already. I was so bad with that skill. I think I got the spiders like you did, but very little else.
Yeah. All right, so the 4 different mounts are confirmed as Raptor, which has a long distance jump, a Springer, which allows you to do high jumps, the Skimmer, which allows you to glide over water and quicksand obstacles, and the Jackal, which has an air dash teleport with 3 charges in it, and you can change directions while you do it, which gives you a kind of a differentiator between the Jackal and the Raptor.
So do you know, when it comes to the Raptor, do the Masteries give you more skills to use, or do they just make the jump longer, or do they make it run faster? What specifically? Do you have footage of that coming up?
I don't know. I don't know. Oh, about the Raptor?
Yeah, about the Raptor.
Oh, I know all about the Raptor.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah, but I didn't get footage of. Obviously, we weren't able to acquire all the masteries while we played.
Yeah.
But
and the other mounts were locked off, by the way, guys. The other ones were locked off. So this
we couldn't see. We couldn't see the other mounts. The Jackal can also use sand portals to access new areas. It sounded kind of like Nuwak Wallows to me.
Oh yeah, sort of a new version of that. That makes sense.
Yeah. All right, so now we're gonna get into this is the screen should be coming up soon where we have the masteries.
Yeah, so Ravenous Strike. We only have 1 point.
Yeah, Ravenous Strike allows your tail spin to do more damage. So that combat engage skill for the Raptor will suddenly do more damage. I'll give you another example of me killing spiders with it. So that's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, that's pretty basic right there.
Yeah, the second one makes the tail spin even better because it's called Roundup. It actually sucks enemies towards you and like a vortex.
Okay.
So that it's easier to hit them all. And when you dismount, then they're all in a nice, neat little pile, so you can 100 blades them.
Yeah, that makes sense. That does make sense. That's good. Because it's all about the opening engage, right? And so that's going to help you. I wonder how that's going to work in team scenarios. Oh my god. Can you imagine instance content with mounts on mount back? You know, we can glide in raids, in Heart of Thorns raids.
True.
Can we have mounted encounters? Oh, it's going to be crazy.
No idea. That'd be awesome. That would be awesome. Yeah, you can have everybody hit their tailspin at the same time and like wreck a whole like pile of trash mobs.
Yeah, that's going to be really curious. That's going to be crazy.
So the third mastery is canyon jumping, and it allows you to access areas with a further jump. It makes your leap go even further. So there is places that you can't actually get to until you have that unlocked. And then the fourth one is the most interesting. It's called Ravenous Discipline. It shares the increased combat damage of the raptor with the other mounts.
Really? What do you mean?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So one of the masteries for raptor allows you to do more damage, right? With your tailspin.
Right, yeah.
But what they didn't want to have happen
was
is
duplicate that every time. Just copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste.
Well, they didn't want you to feel like, hey, if I want to do the most damage with my engage skill, I have to always ride on the raptor. What if I want to ride around on a Springer and a giant, like, Norn bunny, right?
That's fair.
Like,
yeah, that's fair.
I don't have the damage, so I have to always use raptor. So what they did was the fourth mastery of all the mounts is this share type skill. So if you unlock all the masteries for all the mounts, then you will share all that last ability with the other one. So you have more freedom of choice of which mount actually tickles your fancy.
That's really cool. That is really badass. And here I see you saw dying as well. This really blew me away. Dying the mounts.
Yeah,
very cool.
Dying the mounts, guys. It's a thing. This is the way you customize your mount, help make it stand out. Fashion Wars is a thing. Fashion Wars is a thing. I love the fact that we've unlocked dyes for years, and now they're suddenly got another use.
Yeah, I know. That did strike me, because the first thing I looked at when I saw that panel was like, oh, I want to see what Shadow Abyss looks like on it. I want to see, you know, what kind of these extreme ones look like.
Of course, we only had the basic dyes unlocked. We're like, no.
I wonder if the dye economy will be affected by this. Everyone's going to be like, oh, go get more dyes now.
Get more dyes like today. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So do you want to talk about the size scaling of mounts and how that works? Because, you know, you can have a tiny little Asura, and you're playing a Norn here. How have they done that? Do you know exactly?
Yeah. I think I had some footage at some point with a human running next to me, but the mounts just scale. They're different sizes, which really could be hilarious as soon as I get on that Norn bunny, because I want the biggest bunny ever.
So what I specifically heard about this as well is that they don't regard race, they only regard your character slider.
Oh, okay,
so,
that's interesting.
If you are a max size Asura, your mount will be the same size as a max size Norn's mount.
That's really cool. I didn't know that.
So if you want to look like you've got the biggest raptor from perspective, the meta would be max size Asura. That would be the way to do it, because you'd have this huge raptor worthy of a Norn that you're sitting on. I believe that's the way that it's supposed to work. So I think that's very, very cool.
That's hilarious. And by the way, I'm not sure if I was clear, but all of the masteries in Path of Fire are tied to mounts.
Yeah, all of them. Yeah,
all of them. So there's 16. There's 16 total. One interesting quote from Josh Diaz regarding Heart of Thorns masteries versus Path of Fire masteries that he said in an interview I did with him is that the Heart of Thorns masteries, there was a ton of them, right? And everything appealed to someone, but not everything appealed to everyone. So they're being more judicious this time in what they're including and making sure all the masteries in Path of Fire are core to Guild Wars 2 and what Path of Fire does well.
I think that's pretty logical. That's a good way of doing it. It's particularly for core area masteries. I felt like a lot of those were really stretching to be to add any worth to the game. So if they take that stance with, you know, the new areas, I think that's a really good thought.
Yeah.
You know what I'm really curious about as well now, though? Like, Living World Season 3 added masteries. It added the Ancient Magics line. Does that mean Season 4 is going to add a 5th variety of mount that we will slowly perk up as the season goes along?
I think that's a really good question. I would assume that probably yes. And could we also speculate that maybe there will be additional mounts associated with those new masteries?
Yeah, I think so. The other thing I'm really curious about is how because they're gonna do skins. They have to do skins. There's going to be mount skins on the gem store.
Yes.
There's going to be. There has to be. It's too big, or it's a cash cow. It's crazy. They have to do it. So I'm wondering how that will work. Like, how much variety can you really get out of a raptor? You know, if the raptor is the baseline, Would a skin for that literally just change? You know, can we change his entire shape? Can we change his whole model? Can we be a long jumping Doliac, for example? You know?
Maybe. I think they would try to adjust things within the frame of the Raptor, but anything surface texture wise, they can kind of go crazy on.
Yeah. I mean, they go crazy with the gems. We just had an Abaddon glider. So I love the idea that one day we might have like an Abaddon mount just ride around on Abaddon's floating
It's just a
head.
giant tentacle.
It'd be so amazing. It would be so bad in so many ways. This is a cool animation. I wanted to ask you, can you emote properly from mounts? That's so cool.
You can't emote, but there are idle animations like that one you just saw, where you kind of lean over to your Raptor and go like, "Hey, can we move here?" I love that one.
There's
also a sitting down emote, or not emote. I'm speaking incorrectly. It's an idle animation.
So you just stand there for a while, and eventually the mount will get bored, and it will do other things.
Yes.
Oh,
and we're getting back to the gem store thing. We literally asked the devs, what about gem store mount skins? And there was like a pregnant pause.
Yeah, pregnant pause is a great discussion.
Followed by, we can't talk about anything.
So here's a long jump, by the way. So
that's the long jump. Yes, you can't do that jump right there without the third mastery point enabled on the Raptor. Otherwise, you just sail down
and we'll probably see like an equivalent then on the high jumper. I wonder what they'll do for the skimmer, right? Because the skimmer looked really cool in the stuff that they on the main show. The skimmer looked awesome in the way it could get around the environments. I guess maybe it just means you would hover higher above the ground, or something.
I don't
like
know.
Some kind of movement increase.
Maybe go faster. Maybe a burst of speed, a turbo or something.
Oh yeah, that would be very cool. Because we saw that like really ridiculous thing in the trailer too. That super sexy ability that they triggered. They did like the backflip and then zerged forwards towards the screen. Very cool. Yep. And is that what you've given us? That's so cool, dude.
Yeah, pretty much. I have one other little tidbit.
Oh yeah, let's hear it.
So I kept asking the devs, was there any mounts that you can tell us about that hit the cutting room floor? And they said they had a spider mount prototyped.
What?
That was actually, once they had the animations rigged on it, it was too creepy for them to keep in.
Oh no! What? Not too creepy.
They said that there was a lot of folks around the office that were like, this has to go in, and then there was folks legitimately afraid of spiders, saying anybody with any remote like an arachnophobia would not be able to go anywhere near this mount.
Oh, see, that is cool. That is really cool. See, I get that quite a lot when I play games on my channel and spiders appear. People are like, I can't watch it, and it's like, oh, I would love to have a giant spider man. I mean, we have the giant plastic spiders from Halloween, right? Well, they're already in there. Let's double down on it, baby. That's so cool.
Yeah. So anyway, that was the last little tidbit there. So overall, I'm super excited about this. I love the mounts.
That is awesome, dude. Thank you so much for coming on and showing us some of this cool stuff that otherwise we would have missed. Really appreciate it, dude.
Thank you for inviting me.
No worries, man. And Richie is still streaming, by the way, guys. So if you want to go check him out a little bit after this show ends, if he's still around, then you are more than welcome to.
Yep.
Thanks very much, dude. We're going to go do another giveaway and plow on with the post show.
Good luck, everybody. Take care. Thanks.
Cheers, man. Catch you later.
Bye.
That's pretty cool. I learned some stuff there. I definitely learned some stuff. I would love to have had the friggin' spider. What is that? That's crazy. Guild Wars 2 made your arachnophobia better, so you're grateful, says Chili Ruse. All right, so basically, people are asking if I have an affiliate link. Yeah, I do. It's the same link as it's always been, so if you want to, then you can totally use that. So, yeah, we skipped a giveaway because we went too long on the Elite Specializations. Again, not my fault. Not my time management. Let's go back. So we got two questions here. We'll go one, and then we'll do our next thing. We're coming right near to the end of the show here, guys. So this question again, there's going to be two winners. You're gonna have to cast your minds back now. Not too bad though. I know that a lot of people will care about it, and there was typed a lot in chat. So question 3 for 800 gems, 2 different winners. Get ready, just type it down, and you will be picked out if you win. And at the end of the show, you will get your rewards. So question 3 is: what was the name of the new 4-stack glass combo that had power, condition damage, precision, and ferocity all at once? What was the new stat combo? And so while you think about that, guys, I'm going to take... we're going to close the stream down here now. I don't think I've missed any sections. I do actually have an interview. I conducted a few interviews. This one's a bit fluffy. There's nothing too crazy in there. One of the big parts of it kind of was already revealed on the AMA. But I want you guys to hear it. So over these Heart of Thorns days, as we've been leading into Path of Fire, our game director, Mike O'Brien, and I talked to him a bit about communication policy, you know, the man very much has this perspective where you don't talk much about it until it's ready, and then you throw it at people. And the results of that is what we've seen here today. September 22nd. It's not even a full month away. Oh no, it's not even 2 full months away. It's like a month and a half. It's really close. And it's quite crazy, actually, to see how that's panned out. So I had a few different questions for him, and generally speaking, that's sort of what I want to do for our last section. You're going to hear me interviewing Mike. You're going to hear a little bit from him about various things. It's about 7 to 9 minutes long, and then once we do that, we will have a final 1,200 gem giveaway. And we will have some bonus gameplay where you don't have me in your face constantly. It's just beautiful, raw Path of Fire gameplay, and that's what we'll be doing. So let's move on with the interview, shall we? And I hope you guys have been enjoying yourself. It was a lot of effort sort of putting this stuff together. I hope it has paid off. So let's listen to an interview with Mo. Changing the tune a little bit. Mo, around the time of Heart of Thorns, we saw that the devs had to go away to get it out the door, and then go away to get Living World Season 3 going. Can we expect more of that? And if not, why not?
It is kind of the challenge we've set for ourselves with Path of Fire. You know, Heart of Thorns, if there's one thing we wish we could have done, it's go straight from Heart of Thorns into Living World Season 3.
Absolutely.
And Heart of Thorns was such a good setup. I mean, it really put us in a good position to be able to deliver great, great endgame content into the game. We kind of set ourselves this challenge of, we've hit a really good stride, I think, with the Living World episodes. And we get to make an expansion pack that is all about content, and it's kind of like, we've got the systems in place, we know what we're doing, we just get to make, the content that we always wanted to see, go to the most interesting places and kind of tell the deep story, kind of answering questions that players have wanted and we've wanted to answer for a long time. Mm-hmm. And so it's about, how do you tie those together? How do you make it seamless to go right from Living World into Path of Fire and then right into the premiere of Living World again?
Do you think that's a challenge you've cracked? Are you guys like a duck? You look very smooth and calm above the surface, but underneath it's going crazy?
I think it's absolutely crazy town. If you're going to ask me, like, is it a normal thing to do, or is it crazy to, to plan 18 months ago how these episodes are going to intertwine into each other, but know that, episode 6 needs to lead straight into an expansion and needs to hit at the right time and, needs to tell the right story. Yeah, it's a huge amount of work. We have definitely been heads down for, the last year trying to build up this content. But, we've got great teams who are super professional at doing this. We have been doing it. We know how to make great content. It's what we love. It's what we do. And we're doing it.
Generally speaking, what's one big lesson you feel you learned, perhaps in 2012, perhaps with Heart of Thorns, that has fed into Path of Fire being hopefully the best product ArenaNet has put out?
Yeah, sure. I think a lot of this is putting ourselves in a position to take time to do it right. Guild Wars 2 was always the game where it's about players coming together to do things in the world. And so right from the beginning, we wanted the world to be a changing place, right? Mm-hmm. And in Season 1, we had stuff going on all the time in the world. And some of those things, you can do small things in the world and you can just do them. And some things, to do it right, you're really going to take some time to do it right. You talk a lot, in a lot of your videos, you'll talk about the Zaitan fight and what you wished of the Zaitan fight. Because that's a fight that a team would take 6 months to do right? And when we need to do a fight like that right, we can have a team take 6 months to do it right. With Season 3, you've kind of seen the path that we've laid down with Season 3. We start Season 3 understanding and realizing that now we can just go make, new open world zones, and we can really deeply kind of intertwine the story we're telling to the places we're going in the world. But then we started with a real determination at the beginning of Season 3 that we're going to do this right. When we come out with an episode, it is going to be rich, deep storytelling and a really detailed, map, and that's what we want to ship. And I think we've had a really nice pace that's allowed us to do really high quality storytelling in Season 3, and now through an expansion pack where we got to make a whole expansion pack just about content.
So when you became game director, we saw some changes in communication policy, and I'm always very perplexed when I see people on the internet, because in a lot of ways I feel like we get good information at a reasonable pace now with regular AMAs and stuff. What's led to the communication policy you have as game director for Guild Wars 2? You know, you've just blown the community away by revealing this huge thing that's going to come way quicker than most people think. Do you think they're finally going to see the fruits of having less communication and until, you know, the moment's right on their doorstep?
You know, I kind of said at the beginning that I think, that is at the beginning of taking on this role, that I think the game needs to speak for itself. Like, ultimately, you're either delighted when you play the game or you're not delighted when you play the game. And so all our focus should be on making it an amazing game that you enjoy, and not on, like, hyping it and telling you it's going to be, you know, you're going to love this. Like, no, just make it amazing and show it and let players love it. And so we took each episode to the point where it was done, and we were proud of it, and then we announced it and shipped it. And, you know, yeah, that's a change in communication, because we could be saying the entire time, like, well, we hope we could do this and we hope we can do that, and some of them are going to work out and some of them aren't going to work out. Like, that's life, right? I hope that people are already seeing the fruits. Like, I hope that people, through Season 3, I hope our players have recognized that, yeah, we're not talking constantly, but when we are, we're announcing, you know, some really high quality work, some really good work that, you know, they're going to love when they get to play the game. And so here we are, right? We've worked on this expansion pack. It's been, you know, 18 months of hard work to get to this point. And we've got, you know, a very deep, content-rich expansion pack that is way farther along than, you know, players would expect, or that ever would have been in the old method.
You've talked a little on Reddit as well about the importance of word-of-mouth advertising, and the fact this is an MMO from 2012. Do you want to dive into those thoughts a little bit more for people that will be listening now, in terms of Path of Fire?
I think word of mouth is super critical for, you know, for any online world, but especially, you know, Guild Wars 2 is a 5-year-old game now, right? And so, you know, players always ask us, you know, should you do more TV advertising or more advertising here or there or the other place? And, well, you know, to convince somebody who made a no-buy decision 5 years ago to make a buy decision today, like, is that what's going to get them into the game? I don't think that's how the world works. I don't think, you know, in general, that's probably not how the world works, but especially for a game like Guild Wars 2. Players are going to play the game because their friends are telling them it's a good game. Their friends are saying, I played this content, it was great content. I think our fans are kind of our advocates, you know? They're out there telling the world whether we're doing a good job or we're not doing a good job. If we're doing a good job, then I think people should, you know, be willing to say, yeah, Guild Wars 2 has had a great season. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed this expansion pack. You know, you should come play. Join me in this game. And that's how we win customers.
I'll end up with a slightly fluffier question. It's interesting, when you stepped up as game director, it seemed like it was going to be a transitionary thing. It wasn't necessarily going to be very long. Here we are, well over a year later. How are you feeling about the role? Do we have you for a while?
So first of all, I've loved doing this role. You know, first of all, I love being, you know, very directly on the game. And I feel like the role of a game director is really to champion the players of the game. And really the role of the studio head is to get the whole company oriented around doing what's right for the players, right? Like, we build these games for the players, right? So we're always going to do what's right. And so it creates a very direct kind of bond, I think, between the game team and the rest of the company to say, whatever we need, you know, to do this right, we're going to do it, you know? And if we need to, you know, if we need to take more time on this, we're going to take more time on this. You know, if we need to change this, you know, change this way we're doing things, change this way we communicate, change anything, you know, to be right for the players, we're going to do it. The whole company was always behind it, but obviously, you know, it kind of cuts and clarifies. And yeah, I love working with the teams. I've loved working with the live team. I love working with the XPAC 2 team. We're doing really great work together, and I'm super proud of the teams. And do you have me forever? You probably can't have me forever. I would love to, but running a company is also its own thing, right? So I don't know that the community is recognizing yet, but is going to start to recognize that Mike Z, and I have been working together really closely and well on a lot of this. And I would love for you to meet Z. But anyway, yeah, he and I are really kind of have been more and more doing this together, and more I want to get him into this role and more publicly facing also.
Okay, well, yeah, so thank you very much, guys. I think we're about the end of our interview time, and I'll see you next time. And well, there you go. There we go. So yeah, I've got a lot of different interviews. That's just one. I thought I'd throw the game director on there. I actually think there's a lot of really cool questions and things about, and quite cutting questions about mounts. And why they're right for Guild Wars 2, and all different things like that. I've talked to audio guys, I've talked to environment guys. All of that stuff will be appearing on my channel, as well as like other versions of some of the stuff you've seen here on the post show, guys. So do keep an eye out for that, and hopefully you found some insight there. People spamming for the giveaways still in chat. If you enter it twice, you're not in. So it's amazing how long. It was fascinating to watch Twitch chat there and just see how long people will post the same thing over and over and over. It's great stuff, guys. All right, so last but not least, before I bid my goodbyes to you all, we have one big final question here. One mastermind question. There is only one winner of this, not two winners. There's only one winner. That one winner is going to win 1,200 gems for Guild Wars 2. And all they have to do is answer this one question. Now, it will be the earlier people who get it right. As I realized from chat, people just copy one another, even if they don't know the answer. So it will be the earlier people who get it right, okay? If we can handle it that way. I'm not necessarily saying the first person to answer it, but it'll be the first few who catch on. So here's the question. It's one thing that has appeared on this entire stream. What is the name of the new cute variety of enemy that explode into kiwi and watermelon chunks when slain? What is the name of that enemy for 1,200 gems? Good luck, and hopefully you guys can do that there. So there you go. That's the post show, everyone. That's what I managed to get about Path of Fire for you all. I hope you have enjoyed it. I hope that you've learned a little something. I do apologize that the Elite Specialization stuff could be longer. I had limited resources, limited time. I really did try to do as good as I could. And we will have a lot more to talk about. So keep an eye out on the channel. This isn't me just shilling and plugging myself and trying to get people to go to my YouTube channel or to use my buy link or anything like that. But do keep an eye on my channel if you want more clarifications about things, because what I'm going to be doing is posting a video saying, hey, I've played the game, ask me questions about it. And in a couple of days, there'll be basically a big-ass Q&A about all kinds of different stuff that I found out about it and things that we can talk about. We have got, as far as I'm concerned, about a month and a half to go crazy trying to explain as much as we can about this expansion and what it contains, and hopefully it'll be a blast by the time it comes out. I mean, it's really wild. I can't believe they managed to do it. Talk about no content drought. I mean, 2 months between the end of a season and an expansion release, and if it's like 2 months for Season 4, what a great time for Guild Wars 2. Like, honestly, what a great time. So thanks, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I'm sure there was a million other things I was supposed to say, but I'll leave it there. Enjoy some open world gameplay. There's no cuts. There's no commentary. It's just the game. And I'll be in chat having a look. It'll be about 10 minutes or so of just pure immersive gameplay as we roll on out. Cheers, everybody. Hope you enjoyed. This has been WP, and I'll see you next time. Oh, I do remember something I was going to say. Keep an eye out as well. This is so bad, so unprofessional. What do you expect? I do remember I'm going to be doing a huge giveaway based on getting people into the game, revolving around the hot Path of Fire release, revolving around the climate that the devs have managed to make, the frequency of their releases and stuff. Seriously, don't just watch this and be excited. This is me basically shilling the game here, but it's something I really believe in. If you like this, don't just be excited for yourself. Get people into the game. Get them thinking about it. I think it's such a shame that an old game doesn't get the hype and the appreciation that it perhaps would deserve even after radical changes like this. Mounts are huge. They're a key feature that can advertise this game to people who maybe dismissed it once ago before. I'm running a competition, if people don't know, where I'm giving away every single legendary in the game to first place, worth 55,000 gold. I'm giving away every single Black Line contract in the game to second place, worth about 15,000 gold. I'm giving away all the precursors to the next person, a ton of auras to the next. We got a huge giveaway, about 90,000 gold worth of stuff, a massive giveaway built around getting people into Guild Wars 2 again through word of mouth, advertising and making YouTube videos and cultivating a scene and stuff, because I really think at this point the game, it's not a perfect game obviously, and no game will ever be perfect, but I think it's got enough good about it that it deserves some of that, right? So that is a big thing that's also happening, and I wanted to mention on the outro, and now I have. Okay, back to the gameplay. Enjoy, guys. Bye. Hell yeah, that's a lion. See, there's new content. Lions, guys. Sand lion.
are the best by far. They can jump over anything.
I put all the shiny.
Listen, you know you've been bad. I don't know why you're still trying to place a bet. You never want to part with your shinies when you lose.
No. This time I will. Promise.
You said that last time, and the time before. The answer is no.
Todd's legs are too short. There's no way she can win. Raptors are the best by far. They can jump over anything.
I can't wait.
Wish I was a raptor.
I can't wait till I'm old enough to race.
Let's go, go, go!
Raptors are the best by far. They can jump over anything.
We have another race start. If you want to be a part of it, come tell me.
Todd's legs are too short. There's no way she can win.
You'll all eat my dust.
Raptors are the best by far. They can jump over anything.
Maybe when I'm older, you'll let me race. And catch
Yep, rip. The gameplay ended right there, mid-race. Blue balls, what did I tell you? Thanks very much, guys, and I'll see you shortly.